produced by Do You Validate? Episode 2. Summer.
I'm Renee, and I'm playing Julianne the Chosen. Julianne is a teenager that's seen her fair share of monster fighting action. From a very young age, she knew she was destined for something great, and so did everyone around her. Even before she worked with the Order, she was killing monsters and protecting her hometown in Illinois. Julianne was recruited by the Order after she took down a nest of vampires on her own at the age of 12. Julianne was put into training right away and has already saved the world more times than she can remember. Although her life has been dedicated to fighting evil, there is one thing she cares about more than destroying monsters: her little brother, Kurt.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and I'm playing Kurt the Mundane. Kurt is the younger brother of Julianne, and Kurt was the first person that Julianne ever told she was the Chosen. Kurt's not as into fighting and slaying monsters as his big sister, but he helps out where he can. From running ops back home to helping to cover with friends and family about Julianne's whereabouts, Kurt is the perfect sidekick. He looks up to Julianne and is happy to fight alongside her. Even though he doesn't like going out in the field, he will when the mission calls for it. Kurt was inducted to the Order very soon after Julianne joined.
I'm Aaron, and I'm playing Charlie the Spooky. Charlie is an accountant with the Order. Not a lot of people thinking about budgets and spreadsheets when it comes to protecting the world against evil, but holy water and crucifixes cost money too. Never being one for field work, Charlie spends all of his time behind a desk. But a few months ago, Charlie went to the supply closet and accidentally unleashed the spirit of an old member of the Order, August. The two struck a deal. Charlie agreed to let August reside in his body to help fight against the new doppelganger threat, as long as August would leave when it was done. In return, August would make sure Charlie didn't die on duty. Since then, Charlie was assigned to help Julianne and Kurt in their latest assignment. Charlie's concerned about the numbers, while August is ready to fight.
I'm Patrick, and I'm playing Conrad the Expert. Conrad comes from a long line of hunters and lorekeepers. Conrad's father taught him everything he knows, and his father did the same for him. The Baker family have always worked on their own, but have a long-time working relationship with the Order. With the rise of the doppelganger threat, the Order reached out to Conrad for some extra help. Not only is Conrad armed to the teeth, but he also has his trusty lore library, bus, and traveling home, Gertrude. Conrad has been working alongside of Julianne, Kurt, and Charlie for the last month, and knows the only people he can trust are with him in the Gertrude right now.
Julianne and Kurt were used to only trusting each other before, but not knowing if anyone else in town is who they say they are is a whole new threat. Luckily, they have Charlie and Conrad at their side to help in the fight. These four are tasked by the Order to end the doppelganger threat in Waukegan, Illinois, and ensure their town can get back to normal.
So the four of you are in Waukegan, Illinois. It's been a very long summer, mainly because none of you know who you can trust at this point. Julianne, you have been doing a great job, leading this charge. You know, you're the Chosen. This is definitely what you have been destined to do. But even you are a little, weary of the odds that you're holding against this with this plan that Conrad set in place. It's definitely risky. For you, especially, there's a lot more on the line because what's happened has driven you to the point of, you're even having to have your little brother, Kurt, with you on this mission. Kurt is just a mundane, and so he's having, to hold his own, and even though he's, you've seen him do a lot of stuff you didn't think he was capable of, you're still really worried, and On that hand, Kurt, you're really looking to impress your sister. And then Charlie, you're just a really confused accountant that just, wish you didn't have a ghost inside of you.
Don't we all?
So the basic plan that you have set in motion is Conrad, through his research. What's your lore bus?
It is a 1955 flexible RV, and it's known as the Gertrude Mark II.
That's what the four of you have been using as a mobile base of operations and stuff like that. At this point, through just different, magics or research and what have you, all of you do have some wards in place on you to where you can prove to each other that you're not a doppelganger. You've figured out lots of things like that, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so Conrad, through his research, was able to figure out a way to fashion a device that is going to disrupt all of the doppelganger powers around you. And so essentially the idea is to draw as many doppelgangers to this abandoned old shop called Denim is On. It's in the part of Waukegan that's fairly deserted, to draw them there and set off the machine. That's definitely going to be a really hard thing to pull off, but this is a chance to wipe out a good amount of them and try to get a better standing in town, because like I said, the four of you know you can trust each other, but even other people that you thought weren't compromised from the order, even them have fallen to some of these tricks. So that's where you're at right now. So right now you guys are just trying to figure out the best way to draw in and kind of go from there. So you're all driving around in the wagon right now, kind of trying to formulate a plan of how to draw in as many doppelgangers as you possibly can. What are you going to do?
Kurt would turn to Julianne and say, well, whatever you need me to do in the plan, as far as, you do have something in mind, right? You always seem to be on your toes with that kind of thing.
It just depends on exactly what you want to do. What are we talking here? We're not saying you're the bait or anything. I have my limits.
Well, if it needs to be done,
No, Kurt, no.
Yeah, no, I'd rather not. No, I'll be honest with myself on that one.
I wouldn't let that happen. I guess, do you have any personal limits that outstanding, that personally for your part in the plan?
Well, I've always liked the idea of the getaway man in the movies. I could be behind the wheel ready to go in case we need it. Or something else. I don't know. I don't know what other people are thinking at this point.
Is Kurt old enough to drive?
I would say Kurt is old enough to drive, but he loves his skateboard so much that he has just decided not to get his driver's license.
Just cold sweat comes over Conrad.
So Julian is just fixing him with just deadpan stare.
And the skateboard, of course, is next to him, along with his nunchucks.
I like it, Kurt. It saves on gas. Good idea.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Charlie, it sounds like. Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, you got it.
It is not at all hidden who Julianne is, especially in this town. She definitely has a reputation in town, and one way of to get their attention would be kind of a reverse bait scenario, because she definitely can hold her own and isn't helpless by any means, but that would maybe be a good way to try to make people think that they're chasing her down, because in the last few weeks, you've all definitely had to kind of go more underground than you normally have been, just because of how overwhelmed you've been with the doppelgangers.
I think Charlie is always pretty tired, but I think Julianne's pretty tired too, and just blinking in this deadpan stare at Kurt. And she heaves a sigh, and she's just gosh, a cup of coffee would not go unnoticed right now.
I could do that. Do we have... You know what, Conrad? Do you have any coffee in this thing?
It's above the sink, second cabinet, the right one, not the left one.
On the
other right.
Okay, all right. And I'll go start making some coffee.
It's very basic coffee.
Instant coffee.
It's the flavor of this coffee is brown.
Hey, Conrad, that coffee's not coming out of the order's budget, is it? Because I don't know that if I've put that in there.
Oh, we'll just bill it under expenses.
I'll pay for it if that's going to be a problem.
I like to think too. There's so much good stuff in Conrad's bus, except for the coffee, obviously. That you're having to reach for coffee, and you're using moving around ancient texts that are hundreds of years old with in Sanskrit and stuff like that. And it's just you have to push back that to get the folders Insta coffee out.
Do the ancient texts already have coffee stains on them?
Yes.
I figured.
Conrad's definitely from like a long line of people that have lived in this van as a home. So
Everything in here is like very basic when it comes to meals, and then when it comes to the nerd stuff, that's where it's at.
He's got a Necronomicon right next to a cookbook called A Can of Beans and Duct Tape.
1,000 ways to use rice and beans.
y'all are driving around, and Conrad, especially you've been just on high alert. You start to realize the crossing guard that you're seeing on the street in front of you. You think that you saw them a few blocks down, and you're getting a little uneasy feeling.
I have a bit of an uneasy feeling about this. Could I try to read a bad situation?
Yeah.
That is a 8.
All right. So on Read a Bad Situation, you'll get to choose one of those questions off of that list.
What's my best way out?
Y'all have been just kind of driving around. You're just trying to make a plan. So you were just doing kind of circles and stuff around town. But you realized that as you were talking, the last few intersections you've been to, there's been like crossing guards. And it seems like people have been like trying to route y'all in a different way. And you're kind of putting it together that there's some like traffic cones to your left. You remember, there wasn't construction there yesterday. And it doesn't look like there's anything immediately there. And especially with the suspicion of the crossing guard himself, you think that the best way out would be the route that's being blocked off.
Yeah, I'll definitely relay that to the group. So just kind of a driving, looking over the shoulder of like, Julianne.
We're being corralled.
Yes.
Okay, we need to change our plan then, because we don't have the upper hand anymore.
I mean, this crossing guard's telling me to stop. I could go.
Go.
I ignore traffic signals.
Oh, no.
Hey. Julianne is now like leaning over the front seat and looking out the window.
Actually, I read about this sort of thing, about breaking the rules of traffic. So instead I get to add plus sharp, it seems, when I act under pressure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know how to break the law so good.
Yeah, I read about a lot of cool crimes in books.
It's more like I watched America's wildest police chases before. It's like,
I think Charlie sits in like one of the back seats and buckles in.
That's an 11.
So what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to drive past him? Are you trying to hit him? Like,
oh no, drive past.
He was like, waving you to stop, and you just keep going, and like he's like screaming at you to stop. And are you aggressively driving past, or are you just doing it?
Just acting like I'm completely oblivious, like, oh yes, hello.
Because Julianne is only like 90% sure that these are all doppelgangers trying to lead them to some unknown
Since
fate.
you got such a good act under pressure, like what's gonna happen is the guy's like trying to tell you to stop, and you just kind of like drive past, and you can see that he's like flustered that you're not following his plan. So like he tries to like get out his cell phone, but then he stumbles and drops it, and you run over it with the back tire of the bus to where he can't, he's like, because it seemed like he was trying to alert people, but you're now driving past, and Conrad, you look in the rearview mirror, there was a bunch of people walking around the streets that kind of seemed like just casually walking. As soon as you go through the intersection and don't heed the crossing guards thing, all the people that are walking around casually are now stopped and staring at you as your bus drives forward. Anybody that, wants to say they look back to see what the reaction was, all of you see the same thing, where it does seem like there's a lot of doppelgangers like trying to just blend in a really creepy way, are just now standing and staring at the bus as it drives away.
I don't want to see that. My eyes are closed.
I'm probably standing like facing everyone, pouring coffee and not seeing it, and they're all just looking back, and I'm like, what?
Julianne just like narrows her eyes and then gets distracted by the coffee.
I start handing out cups.
What are y'all doing? It does seem like your very light ruse is out.
So are we still headed to Dinamizon to try to corral as many? I mean, it seems like, we could just drive around and get their attention by breaking the law more.
Yeah, how far do you think they go? I mean, if they've blocked off the whole city roads, everyone in the city, we just assume is a doppelganger. And that sounds
everyone in the
right.
city is a doppelganger. I mean, I think we figured that one out. At least I'm going to believe it, as long as... No, we're good. We're good.
It's one of those things where I like said it out loud and then I realized how ridiculous it sounded. I just like, I keep holding on hope, and then realizing what we're up against and letting go of that hope.
How nuclear is this doppelganger thing? Like, obviously we'll be fine, and like normal other people will be fine.
Are you talking about the machine itself?
Yeah.
And what it does is it sends out, like, because the way that you have figured out the doppelgangers do this, they're able to, like, vibrate their frequency to actually change the physical matter that their body, like, and how it represents itself. And so you found out that there is essentially a frequency that will nullify and, like, counteract their power while also at the same time, like, not knocking them out completely, but
Pretty much statics their signal.
yeah, it stacks their signal, and so there's like a good chunk to just kind of take out a lot of them and stuff like that, because it's just right now there's just like such an enormous wave of them, and the machine is already set up over at Denim is On.
I'm kind of for Operation Start Causing Havoc.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if y'all want to try to do some more crimes just to draw a bunch of attention.
No, I could smash some mailboxes with my skateboard.
My only concern is, are they just going to stand there and watch?
We aren't going to have to pay for all these crimes, are we?
We won't get caught.
Oh no, we build a client.
Is the client the doppelgangers?
That would be a very poor situation.
I think as y'all are saying this, Kurt, outside of the window, you just see a smashable window of an antique shop in front of you with just so many mirrors.
I'm going to point it out and say, we could start with that one. There's probably, I mean, that would get a lot of attention.
Oh.
Imagine the alarm that would go off. No? Okay, if you don't approve. No, Julianne, you're probably right. You usually have you usually know which way the compass points, so.
It'd be such a shame. Okay.
Yeah.
No, we need to lead them all. An alarm's not a bad idea. Is there any way we could get some sort of sound device to go off where we want them to go? Instead of just like picking a random place and hoping the alarm goes off.
Isn't there an alarm on our bus? Can we just set that off and drive it through the city?
As you guys are having this conversation, you do turn the corner and see Crazy Eddie's Sound Horn Emporium. It's a smaller town, but it's right outside of Chicago, so a lot of people stop by there before they go to the big city for games to get all their sound horn needs met.
There, right there.
Sharp turn.
Yep.
Like, if you can drift RVs, the RV is drifting.
Y'all RV drift into in front of the Sound Horn Emporium. What are y'all going to do? You want to try to...
I'd like to read a bad situation.
All right. Pick one off of the read a bad situation list.
Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
It doesn't look like anybody is inside of there. You go you look out the back window of the RV and you do see like some people are slowly starting to make their way down towards where y'all are. So you do know that you don't have a lot of time to go in and kind of grab anything for distractions. They're not right on top of you. They're all doing just this like really menacing slow walk, which they do that. It's just a real big doppelganger thing. They're all just about being like really spooky and imposing. It's not really anything in particular. They just like it personally. So they're just weird.
I will ask the question then of, have we moved past the social grace period, like in this whole thing of like, if we know they exist and they know we exist, is it kind of past the point of like, oh, like, don't mind us, we're just casually shopping, or is it like, rack the shotgun, everyone get inside?
They definitely like, the four of you amongst doppelgangers are like, most wanted kind of thing. So if somebody comes up to you and is nice to you, they could be a human, but they also could be a doppelganger, like faking it. You haven't confirmed that everybody in town's a doppelganger, but at this point, like, there are so many, it's overwhelming. You all have seen a lot of stuff in your time, but definitely this last like 6 months and this like doppelganger invasion in particular it's like way worse than you've seen any kind of like monster infestation before. So you're definitely past any kind of grace period, like definitely on like shoot first, ask questions later kind of thing.
Yeah, rack shotgun. Okay. If you would like to go shopping, I'll watch the car.
I'll pick something up real quick. I'm gonna grab my trusty baseball bat.
I might as well go with I have the checkbook.
We might not need that, Charlie, but I like your enthusiasm.
I don't know if you can call it enthusiasm. Just like being alive.
Julianne, you have a giant sword, correct?
Oh, I was getting there. Absolutely. So Julianne reaches over to where her sword is like seat belted in against the wall. It doesn't have like its own seat, but it does have its own seat belt. And she just unhooks the seat belt, grabs the entire thing, which has a strap of its own, hoists it over her shoulder. It's almost as tall as she is, and so the hilt of the sword comes up well above her head and she lifts it like it's nothing, tosses it over her shoulder, pulls the strap tight, and crouches down on the ground ready to hop out the second those doors open.
So the three of you are in there. Conrad, you definitely have like a little setup on the top of it where you can get on the top of your RV. You have like a little lawn chair that you use for whenever you go and hanging out, watching movies over like fences and not paying for tickets at like drive-ins or just, and so you can definitely get up there and be on top. And the three of you can go in to try to gather some stuff. So Charlie, Julianne, and Kurt, you all three make your way into the Soundhorn Emporium. What kind of stuff are you looking for? What's the plan? What are you trying to get?
Anything loud.
Did you say there were workers inside earlier?
No, it seemed like this building was empty.
Okay, perfect. Anything loud, air horns, or anything of that ilk?
Okay.
Air horns, actual horns, fireworks, and anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Charlie?
I think Charlie's trying to find something small. He wants to help, but he also doesn't want to carry anything. So maybe like a little drum or something.
Okay, how about this? So all three of you, because I think you're all just kind of splitting up, all three of you are going to give me an act under pressure roll, which is just roll plus cool.
Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 5. I'm not very cool.
All right.
I rolled a 9.
Charlie, we're going to get to you last. Julianne, you're walking around and you walk past one aisle and then like stop. You see a giant display case that reads on the side, Soundhorn of the Future, Air Horn 592-2000. And it is a sound horn that like, it's, most people, just think that it is a joke, but it is functional, but it is like a 5-foot tall giant air horn that says 5 blasts inside, prank your neighbor to death.
Kurt!
I'm coming, and I'm kind of stumbling over some boxes and stuff I'm searching through. And can I use the move Oops?
What does Oops do?
If you want to stumble across something important, tell the keeper you will find something important and useful, although not necessarily related to your immediate problems.
Okay, yeah, you are running and you stumble on some boxes and some tambourines fall out and catch your eye.
Okay. Those look like quality work. What is that, Latin percussion? Hell yeah, I'm gonna take those.
Kurt?
Sorry, I'm coming, and jingle, jingle, jingle as I run along with them to go help out.
You get to your sister and she's motioning to help get this monstrosity of an air horn.
I'm gonna look at him and say, you can lift that big sword, and you can't lift. Okay, all right, I can help with this one too.
I just wanted to show you.
Oh, well, yeah, of course, absolutely. You pack up. They got a BOGO deal here.
She could definitely get it out of there, but you could, if you want to give her your skateboard, she could set it on there for easier mobility.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not heavy to Julianne. It's just unwieldy.
They're doing that, and Charlie, you're just trying to look for something very small, and it's a weird thing that you're trying to, because you heard the plan, and in your head you're like, cool, something small and easy to carry, and so you're just picking things up and just kind of measuring them up against your fingers, because you're just I really don't want to exert any more effort than I have to. And you walk around the aisle, and then you see somebody in a Crazy Eddie's Air Horn Emporium shirt, and they just look at you and go, how may I help you, sir?
Oh, I didn't know anyone was here. Hi, I'm Charlie. We're looking for things that make noise.
You came to the right place. Some of our best noisemakers are in the back.
The back, out of eye shot of everyone else, huh?
Well, yeah, that's generally what the back means. You have a weird way you're talking right now. Seem very suspicious.
Well, no, just, got a way about me, so, I'm just browsing. I'll come and get you if I need anything, help.
Okay, are you trying to walk away?
Yeah, I'm trying to back up and see if I can get down one of the side aisles.
So you start to back up, and then you feel like you back into somebody, and you turn around and you see the exact same employee, and goes, hello, sir. Welcome to the Air Horn Emporium. How may we help you?
We? And I turn around and look to see if the same guy's standing on the other side.
Yeah, there's definitely two of him.
Oh, brothers. No, I was just browsing. Can I get down like a side aisle?
If you're gonna try to run again, you're gonna have to give me another action or pressure roll, but now you're gonna take a -1.
That's gonna be a 6.
You try to run down another aisle, and just before you can like get any at all far away, one of them trips you, sending you flying forward into like a rack of air horns as you fall and take 1 harm. And Julianne and Kurt, you hear on the other side what just happened, like the fighting going down and Charlie falling and the air horns going off.
Wow, that is awful customer service. I am gonna leave this place the worst Yelp review.
As you say that, the two of them stand over you, and you see their skin shimmer as like a ripple comes across of them, and then the two of them are now shapeshifted into forms of Charlie.
Shit.
Kurt and Julianne, what are you doing?
I think as we're probably getting the giant air horn on the skateboard, this would probably happen. We'd be like, should we go? We need to go, right?
Roll it.
Yeah, let's roll it. We're gonna roll it over there and try to see what's going on with all that noise.
You roll it over there, and as soon as they start to hear that happening, Charlie, you're on the ground looking very confused, and they look over, look at each other, and look down at you, and then they fall down and they hit other things down, like they knock other shelves down. So whenever Julianne and Kurt come over, there are 3 identical looking Charlies, all falling into a different rack of air horns, pointing at one of the other ones and screaming that like they're a doppelganger.
Okay.
But we have that ward that we can tell, right?
Yeah, you do. They're still trying to do the trick.
I'm just gonna look at Julie and roll my eyes and be like, oh no, which one is the real Charlie?
Yeah, one of them just like, yeah, no,
This is cute.
it's definitely me. And like, and they're like, that's one the imposter, pointing to the one that you definitely know is the real Charlie.
Who's crying?
Juliet is just like sympathetically nodding at these 2 people as she draws her sword from her back.
All right, roll it, kick some ass.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in this situation, we just kill everyone to be sure.
I am making sure that like
Oh yeah.
we have
I'm telling this to the doppelgangers
No, I know.
as you're pulling your sword.
Yeah. This is the other
No.
thing too. Like doppelgangers are, they're a whole different creature. It's not that like somebody's been taken over.
Right. I
and
did
you're
want to clarify that.
And you're killing a person. This is like a creature that makes themselves look like people.
Yeah, that wasn't great. This is a 5.
Ooh, God, ooh.
Yep.
You go to swing your sword on one of them, and they just pull out an air horn and blast you with it.
Ah.
So you're only gonna take 1 harm, which, and then you're gonna.
Does that count against armor?
No, that counts, because it would just be, because what it would be is that like you're falling back. So they spooked you, so you're gonna take 1 harm, and you haven't like lost your sword, but you definitely dropped your sword.
It clangs on the ground.
Kurt, what do? You saw your sister do that, and then Conrad, once Kurt goes, you will have a chance to react because you will be hearing stuff going on inside. Kurt, what are you gonna do?
I am going to use, I don't know if I'm using this correctly, but a move called the Power of the Heart. When fighting a monster, if you help someone, don't roll plus cool, you automatically help as though you'd roll a 10. So I'm going to do that by helping Julianne, she dropped her sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to help her by picking it up and saying, here, and kind of like, pointing at her and just giving her a thumbs up. Like, you got this. Hey, I know you got this.
Okay, yeah, so generally what that would do is like you could give her a +1 on your roll, but I'm fine with just like, interpreting that in other ways because the system's very flexible and fun like that. So what I can just do is I think like your brother is used to just being, your sidekick and your hype man. And before the sword even like clangs on the ground, like he jumps, grabs it midair and like tosses it back to you. And you can take 1 more attempt at kicking some ass because your brother just helped you out.
6.
He throws you the sword and you really do think, God, my brother's so kick-ass. And like I said, you're having this really hard time, like, because especially like not only you're worried about your little brother, but you're also having to understand that he's no longer just your little brother. He's coming into his own, and even though you have all this power, he's found a way to like fight by your side. So it's also that you're coming to terms that he's growing up and might not need you as much as more, and just seeing how good he is in combat and battle kind of like brings a tear to your eyes. So you have like a reflective moment of how proud you are of your brother, and then you get your leg swiped out from under you as a doppelganger takes this opportunity, and you're going to take 2 harm.
I am the chosen one, I swear.
Conrad, you hear just a lot of clattering from inside and the all too familiar sounds of Charlie crying.
Julianne crying out in frustration. She doesn't swear, but she just says, "Golly gee!"
So Conrad will go ahead and, I guess, hop off the RV. I assume it's like the nice little like glass swing doors.
Yeah.
So just kind of kick those in, shotgun in hand. I assume I see the whole scene.
They were close to the front of the store because Charlie didn't exert much effort by searching far back.
Alrighty. So I will shoot one of the Charlies that's not crying.
Yeah, which would be roll to kick some ass.
That's an 11. I'll suffer less harm since everyone else is getting hurt.
You see Conrad come in and just blow the head off of one of the doppelgangers as it does that. And then Conrad, you'll take 1 harm. So the reason why you take 1 harm, though, is you're looking really cool as you just did that. But the doors are like, they swing both ways. So like you kick them forward and then they fly back. And then one door just like slaps you on the back of the head for 1 harm.
Is that even with the -1 in there? Because I got the success and I was going to take less harm.
Oh, yeah. So then you won't take any harm. So it's your pride is hurt.
It was awesome for about like a second, and then it kind of turned goofy.
Charlie, what are you going to do? There's now a lot of doppelganger blood on you.
I think at this point, Charlie basically is essentially going to pass out.
Okay.
But what happens when he passes out is his eyes kind of go gray for a second, and they roll back in his head, and then he kind of like sits up a little straighter, and a big grin comes across his face, and he looks at one of the doppelgangers and reaches into his backpack that he's been carrying around, and he pulls out a flintlock pistol.
So everybody, this is August. So you can roll to kick some ass as you fire your flintlock pistol.
That's going to be a 10.
Okay, great. So same thing. You're going to trade blows, but you can choose one off of that list.
I'd like to give 1 forward to Julianne.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you shoot him with your flintlock pistol, and he takes the shot in the shoulder and looks pretty hurt, but like he just decks you 1, and you're going to take 2 harm. Julianne, you see August is back, and I think that kind of bolsters your spirits, because it's not that you dislike Charlie, but, in any situation, it's better to have August around, except for taxes.
Yeah. I think there's like a little bit of relief, like, oh, thank goodness, because I was struggling, and if Charlie were still struggling, like, we'd just all be screwed. So Julianne will stand up. She's griping a little bit as she does it, but then she just kind of heaves a sigh and swings the sword around again.
Oh yeah, roll to kick some ass, and you get an additional +1.
An 8.
The one remaining one just kind of runs at you, seeing that you're kind of going for it. And he takes a swipe on you, and you're going to take 2 harm. You just spin around and just slice off his head. And then because of your badass chosenness, you negate 2 harm, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I think August goes over to where the doppelganger's head just got cut off, and he looks up and grins at Julianne, and he goes, "Well done, Julianne. This new generation of hunters is exquisite."
Couldn't have done it without you, August.
Well,
no, literally, like if it were Charlie,
Conrad, since you are by the door, though, you do hear some footsteps, and it does seem like all of the noise has drawn some extra attention.
Time's a factor here.
Okay, Kurt's gonna go over and start moving the giant air horn again towards the door.
Hold the doors open.
So there's definitely a large grouping of like doppelgangers, like kind of getting on your position, and you load up the air horn, and then Conrad, you get in the car, and all of you are kind of looking more so behind you. And then when you get in the car, you realize like in front of you, there's also a fair amount of doppelgangers. Your mission of drawing more attention to yourself was very successful.
So
Fantastic.
Julianne, with the air horn, it's big and unwieldy, right? It's not something that would just fit in the back of the truck. How much space do we have in the back of the truck? In the back of this van.
It would take it takes up like essentially a whole seat in the back of the RV.
Okay.
And it's very loud, and then also like there's warning on it to say like do not use indoors. So the idea like you also need to be very careful too, because if this thing like fell and went off inside of the RV, all of you, would get blasted with this giant air horn.
We've talked about trying to get them all in one place already, and that the air horn might be the best way to do it.
You do put together, though, that there is, like I said, this takes up about an entire seat, and Conrad does have a pretty nice setup on the roof where the chair is set up there, and the family is definitely a big fan of the Teen Wolf series, so they're all about some van surfing and chilling, so there's even some like straps up there to where you can stay in the chair once it's moving. Conrad's dad, who he got the bus from, used to just have like some really bad tempers moments and stuff like that, so he would just stay on the bus and they would still have to like, you know, continue driving, so he would just stay up there, so it's pretty sturdy actually.
My next question is, how many doppelgangers have gathered here? Like, we're looking to gather a lot of them, right? But
right now you look around and there's probably easily around 30 starting to get on you.
Okay.
I'm just reflecting back to my dad being upset on top of the RV, like, you drive, honey, I'm gonna go up to the roof, and just like 60 miles an hour down a highway, and just arms crossed, like,
yeah. His face is still just like getting pushed by the wind.
Yeah, big twirly mustache.
That's the only place your dad felt comfortable crying because no one could tell. He was like, it's the fact that there's 60-mile winds in my eyes. I don't have feelings.
Julianne will toss the air horn up onto the roof of the RV and hoist herself up after it.
Yeah, so I think you can do that, and you know, if you want, like I said, you can strap yourself and the air horn in to where you can stay up there and do a couple blasts as you're trying to gather the attention.
Cover your ears! And then she releases the first bout of the air horn, and she aims it directly at the group of doppelgangers right in front of the RV. Goal is at least to throw them off.
Yeah, so you kind of push it like towards that section, like you turn it and like slam down on it. And as soon as you do it, the three of you that are inside of the van like feel like the bus is like the RV itself is like shaking and things like that. And there's like 5 doppelgangers that were like walking up close to the car. And earlier how Charlie had seen their skin kind of ripple as they like transferred into him. It's a terrifying vision of what you see as this sound blast hits them. Because like I said, they use different vibration wave frequencies to like be able to transform and mold their body. So what you start to see is like their skin blasting and rippling as if like, but instead of just like pushing their face back, they're rippling in between different faces and identities that they've like assumed over the time as this blast hits them. And the 5 of them, like as they're doing this, like kind of fall down and shake. Conrad, you recognize this as like a very mild version of what you're planning to do to all of them. You see one of the, some of the ones starting behind you, even though doppelgangers love that very like spooky, slow, determined walk, they're starting to like kind of walk a bit faster as you definitely just irritated them. So you now have 4 blasts remaining, and let's say effectively that got you the attention of about another 20 doppelgangers.
God, would have been so good to have those fireworks right about now.
Yeah, agreed. Fireworks are just always cool.
I have a thing called preparedness. It's when I need something unusual or rare, I can roll sharp, and it might be right there.
Oh yeah, so roll sharp.
I was gonna say, since I wasn't in the store, it might be like, if you need those, they're just...
Oh yeah, you definitely have just a treasure trove of random shit in your RV, so this is not out of question.
I was smuggling these one time.
That's a total of 7.
Okay, and so what does that say on
it says between 7 and 9. You have it, but not here. It'll take some time to get to it.
So yeah, pretty much that's it. It's like you hear her say like she wish she had some like fireworks and stuff like that. And then you remember that you actually always love to celebrate a mission success with a giant fireworks show, and you were going to surprise everybody, but you remember it is back at the Order headquarters.
Conrad keeps this information to himself. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be like, if you told me we needed fireworks, I would have... No.
August and Kurt, what are y'all doing as this is like happening? Because the 2 of you are in the back of the RV.
The only thing I could think of was screaming at them before, as we're rolling down the road and saying, hey, DoppelCon 2019, it's right over. They're holding it at Denim is On. Come on to DoppelCon at Denim is On. Everyone's meeting.
Give me a roll plus charm. You're not supposed to be able to charm monsters and stuff like this in the game, but I love doing dumb shit like that, so.
I noticed that. I was going to say, manipulate a person, but I was like, well, there's not one for a monster, so, that's a 10.
So what did you call the con?
Doppelcon.
Yeah, so you hear one of them go, Doppelcon, shit, dude, I thought that was until like spring. Hell yeah, Doppelcon, that sounds pretty good. And so there's a bunch of like whispers going around, and you've actually, you see a couple of doppelgangers like tweeting on Doppel Twitter, and you've gotten a few more people coming to Denim is On because they're ready for Doppelcon.
I forgot I started following Doppelcon on Twitter recently, but this worked out real well.
It's trending.
In August, what are you doing?
I would like to use one of his spooky powers if I could. I have one called Tune In. You can attune your mind to a monster or minion. There's a couple questions I can ask, but I would like to know if I can do that, sort of like push my mind out and attune to more than one of them.
Yeah, just give me the roll, and then we'll kind of see what we can get out of this.
So that's going to be plus weird, so 2. I ended up with an 8.
Okay, and then
so
what is that?
On a 7 to 9, hold 1. So I get to ask one question. One of the questions is, how can I attract its attention? I'd like to know, how can I attract more of them?
You kind of like tap into this thing, and what you surmise through this is that they aren't like a hive mind, like one thought controls all of them, but they do have a link amongst them on like a really basic level. And especially right now, there's so much buzz about Doppelcon. You definitely realize, I think, that if you hop on that hashtag, like you can really start pushing it, and a lot of people are going to be really excited about Doppelcon over at Denim is On. So you come back, and all you can just see is like Kurt's phone in your ghost vision is just like brightened up, as you just know, like that's the real way to get all these doppelgangers over to Denim is On.
So I think I walk over to Kurt and I put a hand on his shoulder, and I'm like, whatever you're doing with that thing, that contraption, keep doing it.
You got it.
He looks at you and goes, you gotta tweet harder. And then we have like this really cool montage of just like a bunch of close-ups of your hand, just like tapping numbers and emojis and stuff like that, and just like replying, retweeting. So yeah, there's like
little like scrolling text feed of like Doppelcon.
Yeah, I'm wiping sweat from my brow. I'm like, yeah, I've got like a sweatband on and everything ready to go.
Doppelgangers have a weirdly good sense of humor online. They all have the exact same avatar, like photo. So it's pretty easy to tell which one's a doppelganger account. So you're just drawing up people, and like Conrad, you're just noticing, you're hearing all these like dings in the back coming from Kurt's phone as August like looks over his shoulder and is like, you know, like the coach from Rocky now, like trying to tell him how to do this. And you now all have like a fair amount of doppelgangers up on you. Julianne, what are you doing up top?
So she's not using the rest of the air horn yet. Only 4 more blasts, and we don't really need it in front of us. And what good's it gonna do to affect the ones behind us? We want them to come with us to Doppelcon. So right now she's just wedged the air horn like between her knees and is like holding it tightly there, and is just has her hands like up in the air, just like feeling the wind around her fingers and hollering every few seconds like, woo!
So roll to act under pressure, roll plus cool.
Cool. And I think that this is also, she's picking up on a lot of what Kurt has started. And so she's hopping onto that hype train.
Oh, I would definitely brag about Kurt's social media escapades. And probably every once in a while sticking my head out the window to yell it up to Julianne.
We're up to 1,000 attendees.
600 retweets.
I think Charlie has a phone, but August keeps throwing it away. Well, don't need this.
Yeah, so Julianne, first of all, is on that hype train, definitely like echoing the, yeah, Doppelcon, woo! And I rolled a 10 on act under pressure.
What you start to do, especially with your previous knowledge, you pick up that all doppelgangers just have the same avatar, and that's pretty much the blue check mark to them. You know, there's no real verification. So you just take a selfie and use your sword and like make it look like you're upside down and say like, new edition of Doppelcon, we're gonna kill Julianne the Chosen, be there in 30. And just immediately you just start to see like the retweets just flying off as you have used your own death as a way to draw people in.
Oh,
Yes.
and Julianne is living for it.
So yeah, y'all are using the power of Twitter to draw all these people. And so I think Conrad, realizing that now is like an opportune time with the people, like you are keeping a slow pace so the doppelgangers would catch up with you. But you're very sure that you've done all that you guys can. So you need to like speed up and get to Denimizon to go prep the machine.
And also print badges and
God, there's so much admin work to do. Anyways, and like, we got to make sure we pick up the talent from the airport, all right? And we can't have it do it in your old Toyota Camry.
Did anyone take care of signage?
August's gonna need you to sign a bunch of checks while you're August and not Charlie, because you still have the same handwriting, right? That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
I'm in his head. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sign all the checks, get it all cleared, and we should be good to go in no time.
August starts writing out these checks, but when he writes the name Charlie, he puts like the heart for the dot on the I.
And then Kurt's like thinking that this is like a pretty good way he can just cash all these checks. But then when you do see it, you do see that August has dated it for like 1887.
90 days. You're doing a great job, August. Yeah, okay. And I go back to my phone just in time to see the whole thing about killing my sister. I'm like, wait. Okay, I get it.
You all make your way back to Denimizon, and Conrad, you're able to make sure that you weren't being immediately trailed, so you probably have a good like 10 or 15 minutes to like set up and prep, and you think you only need about 10 of those 15 minutes, but you do know that everybody is on the way for DoppelCon. What are y'all going to be doing? So the layout of Denimizon, it's in an old kind of like shopping district that has since been like shut down over just years of like, the town just kind of, slowly, shrunk over time. And y'all chose this area just because you wanted to make sure that there was very little collateral damage. Not everyone in town's a doppelganger, but there's definitely a lot of them. And, even though this machine isn't going to hurt people, it's definitely going to be kind of like a ground zero for a big fight.
When you say shopping center, are you kind of like picturing like a strip mall, like
so it's got
small stores and a big
it's different
lots?
It's different strip malls. So this one in particular isn't like part of a long strip mall. It's like on its own. But if you imagine like a strip mall, like kind of like few blocks area where there's like, a strip of things and then like an individual store and just giant parking lots, that's kind of like the area you're looking at. But for Denimizon itself, it is by itself, but still around lots of other ones.
I think at this point, Conrad would kind of take charge of the giant air horn and see if he can rig something up.
Ooh, I like that.
Maybe use my little workshop. Maybe some gadgets.
So how about we just do this? Because you definitely do have a lot of stuff in your shop. So just give me a sharp roll, and then you're going to get an additional +1 because you have the access to everything in your RV.
Yeah, I figure it's not anything elegant. It's going to be like a lot of tape. A lot of tape.
If your dad taught you anything, it's cry on the top of a bus and always use duct tape for everything.
Time to take a trip on the cry bus. That's going to be a 12.
You put it in the front seat of the car, and you have like a backup duster jacket and hat that you like put on top of it, and put on like a fake pair of glasses and like mustache thing, and so people might even think that it is you driving this car because you've rigged it up so well with the 12.
It's a Voight volleyball.
So what are the other three of you doing for kind of prepping for what you know is about to be a huge like onslaught?
I know I'm going to walk up to Julianne with a box of, I assume there's tons of pants in this place. Yeah. So I'm going to walk up and be like, so I should set up like a free pants table for attending DoppelCon. Do you think free pants is good for buying the 3-day pass?
Yeah, how long do we let them think they're at DoppelCon before we
Well, I figured, a little bit of pageantry along with decimating as many as possible would be good.
How close do we get to killing me before we decimate them all?
Oh, I mean, hopefully the pants will keep their attention for a little while.
I mean, if you want to give out free pants, maybe rubber band them together and throw them out into the audience?
I bet Conrad has a shirt cannon. He has the strangest things on his bus. I'm going to ask him. Maybe I can just launch pants. It'll be a pants cannon.
Yes.
I just like t-shirt cannons, so I think, yes, there is one.
I was going to say, like, it's probably not, I probably haven't used it as a t-shirt cannon, but it's probably, like, functionally a t-shirt cannon.
You pull it out, and the t-shirt cannon, like, it's next to a bunch of bundles of sticks that are all wrapped around, and you pretty much can see that this has been, like, last time it was used was retrofitted to just shoot out multiple stakes at once.
It's just actually a cannon, but can it shoot pants?
And then you throw all of that out, and then like all of the actual deadly stakes and stuff like that, and you throw those out, and then load it in with like a pair of Jinko jeans.
Oh, wow, that's going to cover some ground. I might be able to get a 2-for-1 on that one.
Kurt, you now have a t-shirt cannon. Julianne and August, what are you doing?
Oh, well, Julianne's been helping Kurt get set up to welcome guests to DoppelCon, but the additional part of the setup is getting the air horn in a location, and yes, this is indoors, where it will blast them.
Okay, so I think you can put it like in the very like front entrance of, and then you can use the same disguise that Conrad had done to put it in the front seat to where it just looks like a customer is browsing a rack of jeans. But really, in all reality, it's just a giant 5-foot-tall air horn. August, what are you doing?
I think August wants to help, create the ruse of the DoppelCon. So, your plan has legs. So he grabs his cane from the truck. He searches Charlie's memory, and Charlie remembered that there's a copy shop in this strip mall called Copy Gangers, and he drew up a quick sign while they were in the truck. So he's gonna make copies and post those up as posters. So he takes the cane and he smashes the window of Copy Gangers, and he makes a bunch of copies, and he starts to tape them up around the building, and they all say, "DoppelCon, anyone who's been anyone will be there."
I love it.
Yeah, I was going to make you roll for this, but I'm going to let you know, Aaron, as a player, just did such a good job that you get all of that. Like, you can have all of those banners. And I think Julianne's helping, and Julianne's had, like, a lot of experience doing, like, welcoming committees for the church and does a lot of, like, outreach stuff, especially being the chosen. She has to do a lot of meet and greets. What started to be, like, a weird joke, especially for Conrad, too, because, like, he's probably not on Twitter or as up on anything, so he doesn't have, like, a full understanding even what DoppelCon is, and like Conrad just like goes to double check real quick and make sure everything's good, and like the front room is transformed into what actually looks like a pretty decent convention center. You didn't realize how good Kurt was at like sewing. It's because he's ripped up a bunch of jeans and then now has like a bunch of like cool designs around, and then like there's little doppelganger art of just like identical looking people, and then there's a bunch of welcome banners, and Julianne has like put on a more welcoming outfit, and her giant sword is just hidden in like a denim sheath that she's like created to hide her sword, and like you even yourself, you don't know what's going on, but you kind of feel very welcomed at DoppelCon, and you can see why, it was definitely trending just recently.
Take out a disposable camera, take a picture, remember to photocopy that to my live journal later.
Oh, man.
But yeah, and then like Conrad, you go look out front, and sure enough, you see the menacing speed walking of what looks like to be, easily like 100 to 200 doppelgangers.
Oh.
Put on my DoppelCon pass.
Same.
Yeah, no, I guess I'll just kind of like prop the doors open and make it seem inviting on the door side, and probably stay close to. I'm probably more of like an out of sight type person. I'm not going to blend in with this community at all.
Yeah, you definitely did not just do any of this last very intense 10-minute prep setup for what's now going to be the best con that Waukegan, Illinois has seen in years.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Julianne has oversized jeans on and an oversized hat on, and is making herself a very scarce, but not straying too far from the air horn.
Yeah, and then so I think the way it's set up is y'all are in the front room, and then there's a back room like storage area, and then that's where the machine is set up. And you know that you have about like a good probably 50-yard radius that this thing will like affect everyone in. So the scary thing about it is like you have to try to get as many of them up close. But with this, you definitely think you have a good chance of like fooling some of them, because you've also like run into a lot of them, and even though you all have the wards and things like that, they're also not the smartest. They just generally try all of the same tricks over and over again, and you all have a decent chance of making them think that you're also doppelgangers.
Yeah, no, I'll just kind of post up in the back then towards where the machine is. Keep an eye out. Find some awesome sunglasses with little flames down the end of them. Put on my disguise, which is just the sunglasses.
Can I help with this disguise?
Yeah, what are you trying to do?
I wanna help out by making him look like an employee. I'm gonna give him a name badge, like a sticker name badge, and it says like, "Hi, my name is one of us."
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, you give that to him, and then now Conrad, you blend in more as like an employee. So you kind of, it makes sense why you're a little lost. You don't necessarily want to be there, but you do have to have a paycheck, even though like doppelgangers still got to eat.
Exactly, and it's time and a half.
Who kind of would be at the front of the shop to like greet the first couple of people coming up?
I would love to. I mean, I know that puts me kind of in danger, but at the same time...
So you all see, like, there's, like, like I said, hordes of doppelgangers coming in, and the few that were, like, in the front. As they, like, approach, they kind of seem suspicious, but as they just kind of see, like, the true amount of detail and intricateness put into this doppelcon, and especially because everyone was so confused, they could have sworn it was later. But they go in and like, walk up, and they go up to you, Kurt, and they're like, oh, hey, I guess, are you like, the check-in station?
Yeah, you can if you didn't get your tickets online because you heard about it late. This is DoppelCon Midwest. We're working up something, so glad you could make it. Get ready for one hell of a good time. It's gonna just be. I don't even want to waste time because I want to get you in there to experience all of this greatness that we have in store for all of us.
Give me a charm roll. I'm just gonna see how well this goes over, and I'm gonna give you a +1 on that.
That's a 13 then.
They like look at you and then look at like back and then goes, well, he did say one of us, which is a really general way to show that we're all the same person, and that's good enough for me. And then they start to like pick up some of the denim art that you did, and they're just like super impressed.
Oh, if you want to buy that, that's the first run. I'm charging $50 for it, but it's up for sale. If not, you can go see one of us in the back wearing those 6 shades that they picked up, and you can get those too for $15 at the vendors.
They're like very impressed by you, and then they look down and they see like sticking out of your back pocket a tambourine, and they go, oh, are you going to be playing later? Because you know how we love tambourine music.
Yes. I kind of a new act, trying to get my kicks in where I can. So yes, I'm going to be playing it. It's Tambourine Man.
Opening for the main event.
Exactly.
They go, yeah, I can't wait. Do you know when that's supposed to take place?
Give me an hour and a half. I have to tune my tambourine.
Okay. So they buy that. So Conrad, you're in the back watching this, and the first couple of people come in and they definitely buy it. So Julianne, a few more people come in. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I think that Julianne started out in this outfit near the air horn and then just went, nope, this is not going to be a good place. And she like lifts the air horn, but like tries to make it look like that, like she has her arm around it and they're like walking through the convention, and
it's still on a skateboard too, so it's easier to like move around. You're effectively Weekend at Bernieing this this air horn.
Yes.
Right, so you give me you also gave me an act under pressure plus cool, and you're gonna get a +1 on that because of how good this whole convention's going off.
Okay. 10.
Nice.
So once again, like a few people come up and talk to you and ask you a few questions about DoppelCon, and you're able to like, answer them, and no one is at all like second guessing you moving this air horn into a better position. So wherever you kind of wanted to like set it up, you got it like exactly where you want. And I think there's even like one doppelganger just kind of having a very one-sided conversation with the air horn about how they're very excited for the tambourine performance that they just found out about.
Yes, we are all so excited.
Most are confused because they don't get the cosplay reference.
I like how we did so poorly in the store with combat, but we are absolutely rocking the crap out of
this isn't a
Doppelcon.
Combat group, but this is definitely a hijinks.
We are a combat group.
There you go.
All right, August, what are you doing? Like, you're seeing everything go very well, and there's actually a couple people admiring the craftsmanship and design on some of the banners.
Yeah, I think August has since changed clothes because he hates wearing Charlie's modern clothes. He keeps a full Victorian outfit in the backpack that he carries around, and he's just standing by one of the tables, and he's like polishing up his flintlock pistol. So I'm hoping for the outside world, it looks like he's cosplaying.
Yeah, they like it. Someone actually goes up and is like, "Oh, I like that." So I guess like this is what your ancestors would have like the pose they would have done. And so I think a lot of people actually think that you're kind of more of an exhibit than anything. So you give me act under pressure check as well, and you'll also get a +1 because of how good Doppelcon is going.
I rolled a 4.
Oh,
Well, I rolled a 3
And
plus
that's where-
1.
They're like watching you, and they're all talking about how it's like very impressive, seeing the dedication that you have to the craft. And because you're wearing like an old Victorian shirt, they're not, it has a bit more flow and a bigger neck than a lot of people expect. And so you're like trying to like show off your flintlock pistol, and your shirt kind of like falls down a bit, and they see the like upper part of your chest where you have a anti-doppelganger ward tattoo revealed to everybody. They look at it and go, "Wait a minute, that's weird. Why does this interactive art piece at this Doppelcon have something that's very explicitly anti-doppelganger? Is he trying to make some kind of political statement, or is shit, everyone, I think this is a trap." At this point, luckily, there is about about half of the horde of doppelgangers you saw coming in are already inside of the room with you, and there's a lot close. But Conrad, you are in the back, and you hear two doppelgangers like try to start saying that they think this is a trap. And only Conrad notices this. August has exposed his war tattoo.
I feel like I need to keep the ruse going. August, being a worldly person, I would assume, would know the classic routine of, "Hey, you prisoner guy, what are you doing?" So I'm going to go over and I'm going to try and sell like a slap and just try and play it off as like, "You're supposed to be an exhibit, prisoner."
Okay, yeah, so you're also going to give act under pressure. I'll give you a +1 as well.
Alrighty, so that's going to be a 7.
Yeah, so you do sell it, and they're upset, and they just go, "Oh, okay, well, if you got a doppelganger, it won't listen. We all know the doppelganger code, right?" And they look at you and like they're shaking their head, like waiting for you to agree.
Yes.
And they go, "Great, all right, everyone, we got a beheading to start off Doppelcon." The two of them are trying to grab August and bring him to the center of the room, and everyone's kind of like, "Oh, looks like we got a defective one. I always love, beheading one of us. It's a weird thing because as we all know, when a doppelganger watches another doppelganger die, they see their true forms in the eyes of the dead ones. So it's always a real fun just to kind of look at death in the face as you all see like August getting pulled to the center of the room as more doppelgangers are like flooding in now because they know there's about to be a beheading."
Yes. We all know what happens, and of course we need to sound the beheading horn.
Julianne's like motioning tambourine. Opening
Yes.
number. An opening act.
And of course the beheading horn is preluded by the tambourine ceremony. And I start busting out the tambourine, trying to get everyone's attention to give whatever time's needed to do what we need to do in this moment, seeing what's happening.
So you're gonna roll a plus charm. You're going to get a +1 on it because you know that this is their favorite instrument. And it turns out that tambourine you found earlier was pretty convenient later.
I will say that Julianne has taken the air horn over to the stage because that is where all of these events should be happening.
Right,
so she has set it up over there, full view of where everyone will be standing.
Mm-hmm. And the way that you've positioned it is everyone thinks that you've placed the jacket on it to where it looks like it's looking at the stage, but you've turned the air horn itself backwards, but designed the actual horn of it to look like a backwards cap. So,
yes.
And I will step on stage and start my performance. That's a wait 1 second. That's a 7. Okay, well then I think this is a moment where I definitely need to be a little lucky. So we'll change that to a 12.
Okay, yeah. So I think what happens is like you hit like the tambourine once, and then someone goes, "That guy doesn't even know how to tune a tambourine. Let's go ahead and just fucking kill this dude and kick off Doppelcon." and then you're just like, "Oh no!" And then you hit it again, and then you find that that's the sweet spot for doppelgangers and their love of tambourines, as like all of you, and like you all know that this is like supposed to be a ruse so you could possibly help August escape, but you all are very enticed by how good Kurt is at the tambourine, especially Julianne. You did not know that your brother was like musically talented at all, let alone maybe even a tambourine prodigy.
I am a tambourine prodigy.
I'm so proud. And Julianne is proud but multitasking. She's motioning to like Conrad to get August up on the stage for the actual beheading event, you know.
Okay, yeah. I think you two go over there and you try to say that like the two that were like holding him down, they're like, "Oh no, okay, I guess you got him. Yeah, thanks for taking it. You know I love I love a good tambourine solo.
Gotta make it an event. Memorable. Social media.
They go like hashtags, yeah, buzzwords, and then you put you're able to like take August on stage. The four of you are on stage. Kurt is in front doing a very enticing solo, and you now have like August, like you're still like set up to where it looks like they're going to behead you, but Julianne and Conrad aren't obviously going to behead you. So what's the move, though?
How many people have gathered around the stage? Are we feeling confident that this is like a majority of the doppelgangers?
You feel confident that you're at capacity.
Great. So at this point, Julianne says, by the way, she started off with a hat and just some jeans, but she's like added jeans that are just like hanging over her face now so that like no one could see her face. And she just says, "Who's ready to start DoppelCon 2019 right?"
Yeah, and then there's just like a giant uproar from the crowd as everyone just goes, "Me!" And then there's a laugh because,
yeah,
they're all me.
How about that tambourine solo?
Yeah, and then somebody is like freaking out about the tambourine and like are just screaming about like how they want to be you, and then a bunch of people in the crowd are actually turning in to look like Kurt.
And she says, "We all love some good tambourine." And then she says, "And we all love a good beheading," and like motions over to August.
Yeah, a few people are like transforming into August. But they're like all jokingly like pulling their shirts over their heads and, just like having a good laugh.
And then Julianne says, "And if we behead him, there's no reason to kill me now, is there?" And then she takes her hat off and runs over and just like smashes down on the air horn.
So you just get like a smash down on it right away, and it just sends out a blast, and you see the same thing. There's like a good cone blast out of this thing, and the skin is rippling. You're seeing all the different faces they've been, and a bunch of them are knocked back. And there's a few in the back that it didn't hit quite, directly, that are trying to make their way forward. But there definitely is just like a huge confusion, and now all of you and Julianne, you can get another action too, like are gonna have like one action before everything starts to really go down hard. And Conrad, you need to get to the machine to activate it, but it is primed and ready.
I mean, I think that my action is just to prepare to do this again. I have a number of I think I have 4 left.
This will be you have 3 left after this.
3 left after this. So this is, this first one, but like I'm trying to give Conrad as much time as possible. Okay. So if this is the time to use them, she's going to use them.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you want, you can just like, I'll kind of just give you kind of a defensive stance where you're like have your sword ready to protect the air horn if anyone gets close, but also to do another blast.
It's like one-handed, leaned on her shoulder, and she's just like leaning with her elbow casually on, because she's still on the stage and the air horn is like right below it. So she's like leaning casually with her elbow on the top of the air horn to let it sound off.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, you're doing that as people are trying to make their way up. August and Kurt, what are you doing?
I want to block the exit, and I want to use Jinx. So with Jinx, I can encourage coincidences to occur in the way that I want. So what I'd like to do is try to bring down some lights like in front of the door so that it blocks them off and nobody can open it.
Yeah, do that.
9.
Kurt, if you would like, you could roll a help out to see.
Yeah. I'll give him. I'll help out.
Also, your that one move that you used earlier would apply here to the help out roll as well.
Okay. The power of the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an automatic 10.
With Kurt's help, like he sees what you're trying to do, and he tells you about, he saw that there was some loose panels in a certain area that would definitely probably make a chain reaction, and you're able to block the doors out of there, so there's no escape for any of the doppelgangers. Conrad, you're trying to make your way back to the machine, and so you're going to act under pressure, and you're going to get an additional +1 since Julianne is holding off everybody. And just kind of like in defensive mode for you.
Fantastic. That's a 12.
Nice.
All right, great. Yeah, you make your way back to the machine, starting the process of starting it up, and it will be on in a few seconds. Julianne, you saw that Conrad made his way back, and you just gave like another blast, so you only have 2 blasts left in the machine. What are you doing? So like where the position of the horn is, it's definitely going out in like a cone shape, and you see some of the doppelgangers are like trying to crawl around the sides of the stage to avoid the cone's blast circumference.
That's okay. I've still got a few more seconds, so I let it off for just like a split second, say, "You've all been a wonderful audience," and then lean on it again.
Give me a kick some ass roll.
13.
Oh, dang.
So I'm just going to kind of give this to you. You see them kind of coming on the sides, and like we said, you just have such a massive sword. Like, you let out like a horn blow, blasting the people in front of you, and then just do like another giant like over your head cleave and just like lob off the head of like 5 doppelgangers.
Yeah,
Dang.
Contrary to what I led everyone to believe back in the air horn shop, I'm supposed to be pretty good at kicking some ass.
Yeah, very good. So Conrad, you're able to get the machine started. It's starting to kick up, but then, there's like a stuttering noise on it, and you don't really know what's going on. Give me a sharp roll.
Probably gonna make me use my luck roll, and that's a 1 on that die. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and use luck.
You realize like something's going on, and then you remember in the manual where it said like lever 2 3 times, then lever 3 2 times, and you got it switched up, and you're like, oh shit, and then like you go back and like fix it, and it starts to go off, and from the back room you start to hear the pulsing of this machine, but it's like a weird thing because the frequency that it emits, you don't hear it as so much as you feel it, which is definitely a weird thing for like sound waves. You can feel like the physical presence of it, but don't hear anything. And as you start to see like shutters of this frequency go out, and like doppelgangers are starting to like fall on their knees, and you start to see the same kind of effect where their skin is like rippling, but it's a different ripple than the original air horn. What this is actually doing, you're kind of seeing their skin go down to their base forms, and none of you have actually seen this, but the way their skin actually looks is like weird sewn woven yarn like patterns, but it's like of a still fleshy material, as you kind of just see once they're all in their true forms, like it's just like ever shifting and expanding to kind of like use like the tension and lack of tension to form their bodies. So you're starting to see all these people fall down around you, and they all look like weird like yarn models of a person. And it's super terrifying. And what's even more terrifying is you see all of them fall down, and Conrad, like, you stick your head out because you think that this is your chance to like attack. As the machine pulses, it doesn't seem to actually incapacitate any of them, more so as just show all of their actual true forms, and they are now starting to like encroach on the stage, which is like right in front of the back room. What are you all gonna do?
Pants cannon.
Kick some ass.
That's 5.
You go to shoot the pants cannon, and it just kind of like hits somebody in the face, and they do get hurt. Whenever the fabric hits their yarn-like skin, you actually see like the color of their body like match the dark blue of the denim, and they shake it off and then grab the t-shirt cannon and break it and like push you back. So you're not going to take any harm, but you now are like knocked prone and you're down.
Pants cannonless.
Yeah, and Julianne, you do see your little brother brother get hit. August, what are you doing?
I noticed something before when I used my jinx on a 10, I was supposed to hold 2. Can I hold that over to this turn?
Yeah.
I think what I would like to do is use my holdover, and they're standing on the stage, right?
You all are like on the stage, and so they've all like backed you into a corner, and the stage, y'all set it up to be like right in front of the entrance of the back room where the machine was. So they're like in between you and the exit, but the exit is also blocked because of the original hex. But they're not on the stage like with you, but they're starting to like make their way onto it.
I would like to break one of the legs of the front of the stage so that the ones that are on it fall.
I think you do that, and like you can like, you know, you motion for Kurt and Julianne to like step back a little bit, wait a little bit to where there's some getting on there first. They fall back and give a little bit of like hindrance to the rest of them, so you all have a bit more time to escape. Julianne, what are you doing? You just see that like August has made like the front of the stage unstable, and Kurt is on the ground in the back.
I mean, I'll make my way towards Kurt, just like hack/swing in as we go, because the stage is gonna fall. I'll get out of the way of that and get to my little brother.
Yeah, roll it. Give me a kick some ass roll.
Yeah.
Let's kill some doppelgangers.
11.
We'll just kind of give it to you. You're able to chop a few heads off. They get a swiping on you, but you know, you just brush it off, and you're able to like pretty much like you're with one hand do a swipe, and the other hand just like pick up Kurt and like get him back up on his feet. Conrad, what are you doing?
So I understand the layout of this place. This has a back room, but there's only one door in, or is there like a back door?
You're looking around, there's like a back door emergency escape, and there is a door that you hadn't noticed first, but it says like basement storage also.
Since we're all in a big box, my mind instantly goes to fire.
Oh yeah, so what are you gonna do?
I really don't have anything flammable in my inventory. I think I'm going to try and do preparedness to
Yeah, do it.
pretty much have something ideally flammable, maybe toss into the crowd, toss into the broken stage area, start a disorienting / smothering fire type thing. 12.
You're like, oh shit, what do I have? And you reach in and like are looking through your bag, and you found your celebratory bottle of 150 proof moonshine.
I was going to drink with the
you,
fireworks.
Yeah, I was about to say, you always drink with the fireworks, and but unlike the fireworks, you keep this on you, and then you just see like next to you some discarded old rags and a Zippo lighter in your pocket. So you do like a makeshift Molotov and give me a kick some ass roll.
That's a 9.
If someone would like to roll to help out, you can, because like you could have a chance to get that to a +1.
Well, I imagine I'm probably under Julianne's arm, and I'm looking back into the room that Conrad's standing in, and I'm just saying, yeah, they're more towards the front. Give it a good lob. And I'll use that move again, the power of the heart, and that's an automatic 10.
You like take his direction, do a lob, and it just hits directly in like the center, right past the stage, but enough to where some of the blowback hits the stage, to where now there's just like a bunch of flaming doppelgangers coming towards you, and there's a bunch of like screams being let out as their yarn-like flesh is burning. What are you all doing?
I'd like to hightail it to the back exit. Like I could just hold the door, maybe like.
Yeah, roll to act under pressure.
That'll be a 9.
Okay, great. So what's gonna happen is you run out the back door, you open it, turn back to scream, let's go, and you turn back to like try to make your way out, and just immediately you get hit for 1 harm by a doppelganger, but you're able to close the door in enough time for them not to get in. But you definitely do see that there is a grouping of doppelgangers right outside of the back exit.
People always trying to sneak into Doppelcon.
They don't realize the kind of overhead Doppelcon has.
I know. It's expensive to do.
If you steal from Doppelcon, you steal from yourself. You realize that the back door is not a viable exit, and I think August, Julianne, and Kurt, you make your way into the back room because the stage is now almost on fire, and like there's still doppelgangers just like using other doppelgangers as like, you know, doppel shields to get across the fiery waste. What are you all doing in the back room?
Do we notice the basement as well?
Yeah. You notice the other door that has like, this is basement storage.
Well, if the back's not an option, I kind of say, Julian, I think, well, maybe if we go down, I don't know if there's any way out of here other than the obvious. Votes on going down into the basement.
I'd like to read a bad situation if I could.
Yeah.
And that is a brilliant idea.
That's going to be a 10 total.
All right, great. So on that, you get 3 off of that list.
So I think a number 1, what's my best way out? Are there any dangers we haven't noticed? What's most vulnerable to me?
Your best way out, weirdly enough, is downstairs because everything else kind of seems like you can't get out the back, you can't there, but you might be able to like get more of a defensive bottleneck position downstairs to like hold them off. The machine is still going, so you're kind of hoping that like after some prolonged exposure that this might work. What's most vulnerable to you is like you also realize that you have a lot of your ghost and like hex ability you think would be more beneficial, like, you know, just like I said, trying to bottle them up and trying to fight your way back. And what was the third one?
Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
No, because just like Conrad definitely like realized that people are on the outside, so you're pretty aware of all of the danger around you.
Well, guys, it looks like we only have one choice. After you.
All right. Down we
Julianne
go.
is now concerned looking at Kurt, so make sure that Kurt goes down first.
Yep, I will go down first.
You all make your way downstairs and you're watching each other's backs. You start to make your way down. It's like a stairwell, and you make your way down, and then there's another doorway at the bottom of the door, and you make your way into the basement and realize like that you might be able to like block off this door. Conrad used, you know, some zip ties and stuff that he had to like try to hold the door upstairs as long as you can, but this will buy you some time, so all of you can kind of like barricade yourself in downstairs. You all make your way down the stairwell and barricade the second door, and everything like seems very terrifying. You know, don't know what happened with the machine, Conrad. Julianne, you think you could fight your way out of this and live to see another day, but you do not think that anyone else has that chance, and you're worried about that. August, I think even though you're in the driver's seat, Charlie is starting to kind of come out a little bit and is starting to freak out, and Kurt, like, you're just definitely overall nervous and terrified, and I think Julianne's like braced up against the door with Conrad. Kurt, you see like a flicker of light from behind you.
I turn to see who's there.
You turn and you see like a flicker of light coming from the floor and go to investigate it, and once you like move a box, a hologram projects out of the floor, and you all see a figure standing in front of you, and you hear,
"Hello, it is I, the Guardian. It's so great to see all of you. I can't believe it has already come to this, but all good things have to come to an end."
And
What?
The thing, lady, guardian.
This place is haunted, and I'm not talking about me.
Command, search, escape.
enhance.
as y'all are screaming out that, you see the hologram pop back and you hear,
"You four are about to do something no one has ever done before. But don't worry, if you just remember everything we went over in our lessons, everything will work out."
I didn't take notes.
What?
And Julian, you're trying to think like you, especially when you hear like lessons and you try to think over like all of the training
My
that you went
order
through.
lessons, yeah.
Nothing. Like you've never seen this person before or recognized them at all.
Does anyone know who this is?
The only lesson I know is don't cry in front of people. Dad taught me that.
Is this that Twitter you were talking about before?
Maybe command search Twitter, #identify.
You say that out loud and the hologram comes back.
"Each of you just needs to take your possession of power and bring it into the summoning circle. From there, my magic will do the rest."
Possession of power.
I know how to possess people.
Charlie, you had mentioned this before. You have like an amulet that you always wore that has like this seems like a pommel stone on the bottom of it around your neck, and then that starts to glow beneath your old-timey t-shirts. Renee, the handle of your like order like blade that you got like when you were a kid, it's like literally your destined chosen weapon. Like the handle of it, the actual hilt itself begins to glow as well. Kurt, whenever you started to help your sister out, the order gave you this metallic heart and says it's, you know, it's the symbol of the helper of the order, and you could use that to show people, like, you know, verify that you're with them and stuff like that to cut out a lot of questions, and you always keep it on you, and that begins to glow as well. And then Conrad, there is a pair of binoculars that is like one of your most cherished possessions that you always keep on you. It's like passed down and like the whole line of your family, and that starts to glow. And then you see, just standing where each of you are, you don't have to move at all, a ring of light appears around each of you.
Okay, this is not an order thing.
No, but I know when A goes to B, and I take my binoculars and I'll put it in the ring.
Yeah, so like when you pick up your binoculars, like they were like flashing on and off like as a light, but then once you hold it and it goes into like a bright light as you like hold your possession and you're standing in the circle and the light around you intensifies.
I'll grab my metal heart necklace. I'll say, well, the Tin Man's not going to crumple under this one, and go ahead and put it into the circle.
Sure enough, same thing happens. It lights up, the light around you intensifies.
I'll put the hilt of my sword in, somewhat reluctantly.
Third time's the charm for the exact same thing to happen. And now it's down to August/Charlie.
I think at this point, August's eyes flash gray again, and he switches back to Charlie, and he takes the necklace off him around his neck and sort of like looks at it in his hand and looks up to the other three, and he's like, well, can't be worse than having a ghost in you. So he sticks his hand out and puts it in the circle.
And with the fourth circle being activated, you hear,
No matter what happens today, know you've all made the world a better place. I couldn't have picked a better group. Now, fulfill your destinies.
with that, you see all of you are standing in these like circular columns of light, and the light brightens around of you to where none of you can see outside of your column. You hear,
I hope what we're doing is the right thing. The sacrifice you all just made. I'm so sorry. It was the only way.
and then the light dissipates. Kurt, you're standing there, and you see where your three companions were standing. Three people you do not recognize whatsoever. Kurt, where the rest of your companions were standing, you now see three new people. Monty, tell them what you look like.
I am wearing a rain poncho. It's dark green. I've got on some really, really worn down combat boots that have extra buckles on them. And underneath it, I've got some really matted hair. But when I pull my hood back, I've got a really, really sweet face.
Alice, tell them what you look like.
About medium height, wearing like sweater vest and slacks and like wingtip shoes, but everything looks a little bit worn, like they bought it at a store 20 years ago and haven't left the library since. Eyebrows that kind of always have like a little bit cocked up on one side. Nose is always a little scrunched up and furrowed and kind of a little hunched over. Bad posture and everything like that.
Lamar, tell them what you look like.
I look like Willem Dafoe had a really bad day. I've got this, what I can only describe as a pair of child chucks dangling from my belt. It's like nunchucks, but with blades at the end, and the blades kind of look like distorted children's hands, and you don't need to know how I got that. I've just got a lot of weaponry clanking and clicking around on me, and I look like I've been through a lot recently because I've had some emotional experiences.
The three of you were all in your other places, not here, and Kurt was the only one that had stayed in the basement of the abandoned jean store Denim is On. All of you look around and you're in the basement of a retail store. You can definitely tell that it used to be a jean store. The door leading upstairs, you all notice, is just, being banged on from the other side. Kurt just looks terrified and lost, but you all are holding an item in your hand that for a little bit after the light around you dissipates, the items still glow. In Kurt's hand is a metal heart. Lamar's braid of his child chucks is glowing, and Alice has a half of a shield that is glowing, and it seems that Monty is holding the other half of that shield, and it is also glowing. But the light is slowly fading after the cylinders of light dissipate around you. What do the four of you do?
Julian, that light was bright and kind of adjust, and I realized Julian's not here, and I have three strangers in front of me, and I automatically go to, oh, okay. So who are you? And prove to me you're not a... Wait, don't prove me anything. Anyone who's been anyone will be there. So have you been anyone other than yourself?
I have no idea what the hell you're saying. So I'm just... yes? No? I don't know what's happening.
I pretended to be a rodeo clown once, but I'm not sure that's what he means.
Okay.
I turn to you and I say,
once.
these are doppelgangers that you're talking about, right? Because I know all about these.
Yes. Okay, good. I didn't want to say anything in case you were them, which if you are, then I am them too. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Right?
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh, good.
I sure do look like Willem Dafoe, suspiciously so, because I'm original.
Oh, yeah, you do, don't you?
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm getting it. That's Willem Dafoe, for sure.
Well, first thing to do, we've got a lot of genes around us. How about we bind up that door up there and until we figure out what the heck is going on and who's real and who's not real? I'm not quite clear on that.
I agree.
Where did y'all come from, and where did my friends go?
The hell if I know.
Okay, that's an answer.
So I came from a world that was full of doppelgangers. Everyone was leading a life, and they were running around and, nefarious schemes, trying to take over, trying to live our lives. That was like the source of their power. We were actually about to kill like a whole bunch of them, and then I was about to sort of like do the final stroke, have my knife out, and then now I'm here, and I'm not trusting that any of you are real people, especially the person who just said that he might or might not be a doppelganger.
Okay, cool. Let's see, what would Julianne do? Okay, how I prove I'm not a doppelganger? We do this thing, you say your world, and the thing that talked to me said worlds. So what's the name of your world then? And by the way, my name is Kurt. Until you believe me, you can call me whatever.
Kurt, the name of my world is Earth.
Mine too. Okay, good. We're on the same page there.
All right, okay.
I'm seriously doubting whether or not my planet is or is not Earth. I haven't looked at a book that isn't about killing monsters lately, so I'm just going to say my name's Lamar and keep it at that.
Okay.
I came from Earth.
Are you going to have this conversation first, or are you going to try to bind the door up first? Because it is like just a door, had stuff shoved up against it and barred up, but like...
That was actually what I was going to say is, I'm Alice, I come from Earth. That door looks really weak.
Good point, Alice.
Alice, I agree. We should bind up that door.
Tape, nails, something. I got nothing. I got a juju bag. I could try to magic it closed, but I don't think that's going to work. I don't really have anything in my book about that. I don't know. Binding doors? Can I do it?
Oh man, Conrad would have something on him.
Well, again, we do have these quite attractive genes. Is there anything we can tie the genes to?
You're in a basement, and there are some like old pipes and stuff like that down there, and there does seem to be like some other old construction items that were just stored down here from different renovations. Somebody could roll act under pressure.
I do have preparedness. When you need something unusual or rare, roll plus sharp.
Yeah, do that.
So close. I got a 9. Oh wait, I didn't add my sharp. Ooh, so that was an 11. Whoops.
Okay, so Alice is searching around through all the genes, and they are able to actually find, there's a bunch of like rope and stuff like that that's used to like tie off and tie up pallets and things. And Alice is actually able to makeshift a bunch of stuff. And I think since all four of you are working on this together, you're able to like barricade the door a little bit. It's not a permanent hold, but it's definitely going to hold for a little bit while the four of you can kind of figure out what's happening right now.
It's like a web of genes?
Yes, it's like a web of genes. It's very similar to the rag art that you made in the warehouse.
Yeah, that is. I've got a really good idea about a way we could use this web of genes. Webs usually have holes in them, and this door doesn't have a hole in it, so we don't know what's outside.
A bunch of doppelgangers. That's what's outside.
I'm with Kurt.
I'm trusting him because he seems to be the only one who knows what's going on here.
I've got a shotgun. If I was to stick that to the door and pull the trigger, what would happen?
You definitely would shoot the door and hurt the integrity of it that's holding back the bunch of doppelgangers that Kurt is claiming.
There's more genes than door here, is what I am getting from the description.
But I will say that the tensile strength of the gene web, although great, will be greater if you have the door fully intact on the other side. So it would be able to hold them back, but it would then allow doppelgangers to reach their arms through.
So your thought is you'd blow the door open and then catch the doppelgangers in the gene web.
Now that's my idea. Yeah, that sounds good.
There are a lot of doppelgangers out there and they're really, really mad because they thought they were going to DoppelCon. Don't want to even get into that, but they are pretty pissed that it was not a real DoppelCon.
Are DoppelCons a typical occurrence here, or is that a new thing?
Well, we kind of started it, and this isn't the time to brag, but, this is DoppelCon Midwest, and we kind of set it up, and that's how we were going to kill a bunch of them and get them all in one location, and that didn't quite work out exactly as we had planned, but they really like a convention for doppelgangers, so that's why there's a lot of pissed off ones there.
I'm going to step away from the door with my shotgun, because I feel like there's some bad juju going on. So I'm going to go by the person who's with the juju bag and kind of just wait and see what's happening here.
I'm going to say we don't blow open the door because there's basic physics involved with how much tension can be applied to a certain object. I'm not going to go into it because I just got to figure out what the hell am I doing here? And what the hell are you doing here? And what the hell are you doing here? And what the hell are all three of us doing here in this Gene factory where we did not start 5 minutes ago?
Well, we kill monsters, and doppelgangers are monsters. So if we want to find our purpose, I say a really good way to start is by killing monsters, probably.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, is that the other half of my shield?
It is. I'm assuming, or it's just two halves that are mirrored. But, they could go together.
That's interesting. I'm going to think about that for a bit. So,
okay, well,
let's at least try to figure out what's going on. I mean, there was this woman who talked to me when I got into this special room at this place where I was running away from a manticore, and then the hotel got on fire, and I ran into a dumpster, and then the roof caved in, and there's a whole thing. And there were pictures on the wall about which was
that's
weird.
Interesting, because there was a weird guy in a basement who told us that we were heroes.
Yeah, it was kind of like that.
I just had to kill my brother, who was a little drummer boy with knives on his hands, and maybe he created them and maybe he didn't. I'm not quite sure about that thing, but now I'm carrying around a version of his hands just on my belt. This hasn't been a particularly good day, so to be honest, I would like to forget some things.
Yeah, that sounds traumatic, and I'm not going to press on that, so...
Lamar, did you say you just had to kill your brother, and was that related to talking to some weird voice and the light shafts we were in?
Weird voice and light came after. There was, unless you're talking about the weird voice and the light, which inspired us to set a door on fire and then kick it down and burn a whole bunch of little deformed bastard children with knives on their hands.
Okay. Oh.
Oh my god.
I hope I didn't kill Julianne. Oh god.
I'm starting to see how those kid nunchucks were made now.
Well, we had a bunch of glowing things. If we take our glowing things and try to put them together, you've got a piece of a shield and you've got a piece of a shield. If you put them together, what happens?
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Two of you put the two shields together. Each of you give me a weird roll.
Yeah, I'm at 10.
9.
So the two of you place the shields together, and Alice, you feel like a shock throughout your entire body. Monty, it doesn't seem to do anything to you, but Alice, you're going to take one harm as electricity courses through your veins. You see, as soon as the two halves of this shield are next to each other, a similar light to that formed around each of you to bring you here glows, and then the two pieces click together. So that happens, and I think that it just falls on the ground between both of you.
What the shit? Let's not do that again.
I agree.
That hurt a lot. So that's not going to help us get anywhere.
Kurt, you see it on the ground, and then now these two halves are together. There seems to be a indentation on the front of it.
Of the shields?
Mm-hmm.
I'll point it out to them. Kurt's kind of distraught, but paying attention, thinking that he might have just killed his own sister after hearing what Lamar said, and is just like, your shields look different. I don't know what that's about. I just have this heart.
What does the indentation look like?
Heart.
Oh, well, that would make sense. Doing this, I'm like, well, it just seems like that's too wild. Do I know any of you? Like, I mean, if we need to set up some kind of trust, because I don't know if your doppelganger's just like totally gaslighting me right now, or if this is something that this is what Julianne deals with. This isn't my bag. Where is she? Fuck it. I know what she would do. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to put the heart in the shield.
Give me a weird check.
So that is a 7.
Same thing happens to the Alice of you. Place the heart on top of the shield. A light flashes and a surge of electricity goes through your body, and Kurt's going to take 1 harm.
Okie dokie.
Is there any more indentations?
Not on the front of it.
So I just want to say, as I've seen 2 of you get hurt now, that I'm cautious about putting this last piece together. Because seeing as how it's harming us, I'm concerned that we should find either another way out of here or someone else here who can tell us what is going on with this thing.
Listen, Monty, life is harmful. And as I say it, I assume my braid sticks into the shield on the back, right?
Yeah, you flip it over, and it seems that your braid could be intertwined in there to form kind of a handle.
Life is harmful, Monty, and I shove the braid in.
Okay.
Give me that weird roll.
A 10.
Yes.
So Lamar places it in, and there's a similar beam of light, but nothing happens to Lamar.
So, do I just have child chucks but bow staffs?
You now just have, they're just like the blades parts of the child chucks. But you can go take some jeans.
We're gonna make some denim child chucks.
Oh my god. Oh god.
And now there's just a fully formed shield. Is anyone picking it up? Anyone doing anything with it? Is it just on the ground?
I'd like to investigate it.
All right, yeah, check it out.
9.
What questions are you trying to?
Is it anything I may have seen in books before, since I've only ever had the half of the shield? Like, can I identify any iconography on it?
You start to look over it, and it's very strange because, like, first of all, the composition of, like, the metal isn't metal. It's like an element you've never really, like, or a compound you've never really come in contact with, and then there's, like, some craftsmanship that seem like it's from different eras of time even, but like the thing that you can definitely, and it's a weird thing to glean for information, but the thing that you definitely can gather is like you've never come across anything like this, and it's a lot of the same stuff that you found with your first half of your shield. You never found any records about it. It was so perplexing, and then now that all the pieces are literally put together, you're at even more of a loss for this, because this thing seems like it could come from 3 different time periods just from like the craftsmanship on it and the way that it's made. What you kind of get from that is it is definitely just both from this world and out of this world, if that kind of makes sense. It is.
Are there any organic components?
There are no organic components to it. Yeah, the heart is just beating. It is just like
bloody
it is just a bloody heart. As soon as you put it in there, it's like, I'm a real boy, love me. Yeah, no, but
geez, I had that thing in my pocket the whole time. Yeah, no, that's fair. Hey y'all. Again, Kurt here. Just I think there's only one way out. I don't know. When we looked around originally, we kind of boarded ourselves up here a little bit, but there's only one way out as far as I can tell.
Who all has guns on them?
Me.
Me.
I got a shotgun.
Okay, so when I notice their guns, I start to become a little bit suspicious because I'm worried that that Alice and Lamar are potentially doppelgangers. So I'm going to go over to Kurt, the only person who has mentioned that he is from a world that's even relevant in, and I am going to ask Kurt, I'm going to say, hey man, you sound like you're from the same world as me. There was a way that we showed that we weren't doppelgangers. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
All right, I will show you mine if you show me yours.
That's a weird way to put it, but I'm down.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Shoot.
And both of you reveal that you do have the same ward tattoo
Big sigh of relief.
Do I know anything about doppelgangers from my research?
You have come across research of doppelgangers, and you recognize the symbol that both of them have on them. It's a tattoo. There's not any necessarily like secret ink or anything to it. It is just like a magical ward that can help stop doppelgangers from like taking your form. Also, it's just a way to show.
Also, the Chinese symbol for peace as well.
Yeah, not a lot of people know that.
Do we all recognize the tattoo, the mutual tattoo showing?
Yeah, they're both showing a tattoo to each other. Also, while this is happening, all of the guns on both Lamar and Alice vanish.
I do not like that.
Oh my god. Do our doppelgangers, like, weak to anything? Because I do have a holy knife.
Kurt knows that they're definitely weak to just like they can be murdered just like anything else.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if it was like vampires.
No, but it's just that
like,
all
holy
guns
symbols.
in this room, like at the same time, seem to just poof out of existence.
What?
I really don't like that, and I think there's some weird magical bullshit happening. I don't like. You were saying?
Lamar, your guns disappeared.
Yeah, your guns disappeared too.
Oh shit.
They've got a tattoo that keeps them. There's some sort of thing that is between them with their whole doppelganger thing.
They're part of some order of anti-doppelganger people.
And they're both acting really, really weird and distressed.
I think
do you know this Monty guy?
No, I don't. I don't know any of these people. I don't know you. They think we're doppelgangers, I think.
I get the sense you have a good memory, right?
Yes.
If I give you my child chucks, and you put that symbol on...
What?
I'm talking about art.
What? You don't think they're going to notice that the carving I put in your arm is a little bit different from a tattoo made of ink?
I think if we're discreet, we can play it off.
Nah, dude.
Kurt and Monty, please keep in mind you 100% hear everything that's happening because they are just next to you in the basement.
It was done with a magical brand, actually.
It's true. Yeah, Monty's right.
Was the brand Gap or Calvin Klein?
Denim is on.
Yeah. They're a subsidiary of Tommy Hilfiger, so.
Yeah. See, if you're from this world, you would know that. So who are you and where are you from? And what have you done with my sister?
I'm from Earth.
I'm from a universe where we appreciate art.
I literally just came out of a dumpster where I was hiding for 2 hours and fell through a burning room, so, like, don't appreciate the accusations you're making here.
Dumpster in a burning room. Okay, I think that checks out. That sounds like Earth.
Yeah.
I went from being in a room with a bunch of friends where we were celebrating after killing some monsters, including my ex-brother and some real good friends who made good sugar cookies, to now being here with people with weird magical brands and someone who doesn't appreciate the art of makeshift tattoos. So
I'm not saying I don't appreciate it. I'm just saying it's going to get infected.
So I'm from an Earth that despises art. We hate art in every single way. Additionally, I was part of an order.
Is it because art can be copied?
Yes, of course.
I hate copying art.
It was established very early on that art can be copied. In my world, we outlawed art. But when we were facing down the doppelgangers...
So, with that said, if I hate the copying of art, then that means I'm not a doppelganger.
So anyways, I was about to kill the doppelganger that took my younger brother's life. I had my knife to his throat. I was about to let out that sweet, sweet victory line, and that's when I ended up here.
So, with that in mind, I still do believe there is an element here of mutual respect for copyright that can bind us together.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that a doppelganger would not have been chosen by these magical people who sent us all together with these magic artifacts. So therefore, none of us are doppelgangers.
There's a lot of magical people, though, and what if they're copies of each other? Because you mentioned a lady. I had like a weird pizza man. I don't quite remember his face. And this guy just keeps talking about a person called Julian, and he's...
No, it's Julianne. That's my sister.
Julianne as in the cooking technique.
No, as in the chosen one to kill the monsters and save the world?
See, we're all hearing stuff about chosen ones, and there's stuff about copies, and this is all very suspicious. So, how is that door web holding up?
You all look towards the door, and it seems fine. But what's really spooky is all the walls around you are seem to be slowly phasing out of existence, and you start to see the surroundings around you.
What are they like?
So you start to see in the main room of Denim is On, where there are just hordes of doppelgangers, and then on the outside, on like the other side of the wall, you just start to see like the parking lot. So it kind of looks like the building Denim is On itself is starting to kind of shift, but it's not happening at once. But like it's just kind of like because none of you really noticed it until Lamar pointed out the door, but you kind of have all just kind of, you know, out of the corner eye, like it just started as like the walls seemed like they started slowly breathing and pulsing, and then now like it's like a more frequent thing to where like every few seconds you can kind of see through the wall, and it seems like the corporealness of the building is about to go away.
I say, fuck it, and I walk through the breathing wall to the direction away from the big old, the Doppel army?
Yeah.
The Doppel gang.
The Doppel gang, yes, that is what you call a grouping of Doppel.
Lamar, you don't have a gun anymore. Ugh.
I got child chucks.
Listen, okay, if we can get outside and we can get to the Gertrude Mark II, we could probably make an escape. Since Conrad's not here, you don't even know Conrad. Damn, this is difficult. Okay, what would Julian do? Okay, and I'm gonna read a bad situation.
Okay.
That's a 6. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
Can I help with that?
Yeah,
'Cause I was trying
a
to,
6.
I was about to ask
a 6
same.
can be made a partial.
So I got 12.
So what that means is you get a +1 and at no danger to Alice. So you get a partial success, Kurt. What are you trying to do?
What's the best way out?
Okay, so Kurt, you love mini golf, and one of your favorite ones is like the timing swing and stuff like that, and you know that like everything is set on some kind of a sequence. So everyone else is freaking out, and then Kurt, you start to see the actual like timing of the shifts and whenever it's at its weakest, because you did see Lamar just so stupidly but confidently walk through at just the right moment. To where you're like, okay, and then you can like tell everybody like, wait, go now, and you are able to like actually get through, and you can tell Monty and Alice how to do the same.
Okay, yeah, I impart that information, and I say, if we can get to the Gertrude, just get there, we can get away from this, and I don't know, we're obviously meant, something put us together, something put that together, and I look at the shield as I gesture towards it, and they've got to be out there. Something's, I don't even know, this is not my bag, God, why did I decide to, anyway,
Someone remember to pick up the shields. Kind of important.
I say, hey, it's okay. It's all right. It's no big deal. First, I just need to know, what's the Gertrude?
Okay, wait for it. There. That RV. Okay, wait for it. The wall's there. Damn it. There, that RV over there.
Which RV? Hold on, which RV? I can't see. There's like a lot of RVs. I can't see it.
It's the big 1955 Flex RV,
okay.
The Freelancer.
All right.
Let's just focus on getting outside of the building first.
It's the one that it looks like it's prepped for hunting.
And I step into the RV.
All right. Kurt, Alice, and Monty, what are y'all three doing? Lamar has stepped into the RV.
I'm moving towards the RV, definitely, and I will be sure to grab the shield.
All right, yeah, so Kurt grabs the shield. Monty and Alice, what are you two doing?
I follow out the building.
Same.
Okay, yeah,
Same.
and so all of you are able to make your way out. Once you get inside, Kurt, you're the only one that's been in the RV before. It's normally just loaded, and Alice, you are shocked because it is a lore library that is actually like comparable to yours. Kurt, you're completely shocked because the armaments are gone. There are no guns or any kind of artillery of that nature on this RV anymore.
Oh, you've got a first edition of this book.
No, that's either Conrad's or August or Charlie's. You know what? They're not here, so feel free to read on it.
But you will notice that within the RV, there are still like maces and other kind of things like that, but it is like actual like guns and artillery have seemed to be gone. But yeah, and so what are y'all doing in the RV?
Going to mention it to everyone and say, okay, so I know everyone said they're from an Earth. We're in Waukegan, Illinois, and what I know to be my Earth. Where were you before in your Earth?
You say Waukegan?
Yes.
I'm from Waukegan.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Midiocene?
I can't say that I have, Alice. That's Where in Waukegan is it?
Do I see any smoke on the horizon?
No, it does not seem like there is a motel burning.
Okay, all signs point to alternate universe.
I mean, okay, so okay, good. That stood out to me when the voice was talking before the Pillars of Light and the Zordon thing happened. Like, the person said worlds, plural. And that stuck out to me.
As you're saying that, Kurt, you notice, so whenever y'all had set up DoppelCon, it was like a little later in the evening. It definitely was like dark outside. All of you notice this, is that so like the sun had already set, and now all of you see the sun moving in reverse order to right before sunset.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, my Earth did not do that.
Yeah, I don't like this. Are we just in the RV as the doppelgangers are still around here?
Mm-hmm.
Should this RV be moving? Should we be moving away from this place filled with doppelgangers? Is there anywhere where the doppelgangers aren't?
Well, a lot of them are here, so that is a start. You know what? Oh man. Let's see. Let's just go back to headquarters. We'll just go back to headquarters.
So Kurt, you go jump in the front seat, turn on the ignition, and all of you find yourself in a large open field, no longer in the RV. And about 200 yards away, there is a grouping of doppelgangers standing in an open field. But what is terrifying is that the doppelgangers aren't like coming at you. They are all standing in a group still, like how they were trying to force their way into the basement of Denimizon, but they're all just kind of docile and just looking at four of you.
I think we should go investigate them.
Yeah.
From a safe distance.
I nominate not me.
Yeah, nose goes.
I'm a hoodlum. I'll walk forward. I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve.
Yeah, I walk forward.
Walking towards...
I look at Lamar. I'm like, let's go. Come on.
Yeah, I like this Monty character. Did anyone remember to grab the shield?
Kurt
I
has
did.
it.
I got it. Yep.
Kurt, can I borrow that real quick?
Yeah, it's equally all of ours, apparently.
Yep, that works out to me.
So go for it.
So I take the socialist shield and I advance towards the doppelgangers.
Is there a way I could investigate a mystery from the lore library, like from a distance, like to figure out why they are suddenly just standing there?
So we'll kind of have those kind of coincide. So
wait, is the lore library still here?
Actually, never mind. That's true. The lore library is gone. But I do.
What?
But the RV you were in disappeared.
And now we're in the middle of a field,
right.
Yeah.
Like Gladiator.
I totally forgot to grab a sword.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I was
Where's
so excited
the
about
druid?
the books that I just...
You can, let's say this though. I'll say this because you definitely were looking through books. You have a book that was on doppelgangers because you immediately started looking through it. Like I will give you that. That's the one book that you have in your hand.
Yay!
It was probably the least dust covered, considering the situation.
Yeah, for sure. That was
it stood out.
There was a bunch of recent tabs on it.
I got a copy of Calvin and Hobbes.
All right. Well,
every fucking time I grab the wrong one.
to investigate a mystery.
Do it.
9.
And you're doing this while Lamar and Monty are walking up.
Yes.
Okay, and then what is it off of the investigative mystery list for 9?
7 to 9, hold 1.
What are they going to do?
It is interesting because you're looking through the book and doppelgangers they like to prank people. Like they definitely use a lot of their powers to get what they want, lie and cheat. But there's just a long history of just always screwing with people and having fun. But right now, they're not completely docile. They're not out of it. They're not asleep, but they seem a lot more like reasonable and calm. And also just with your kind of experience, you definitely can kind of tell that something with the shield kind of has something to do with these doppelgangers. Not necessarily tied directly to the shield, but it's a little bit of the same bits of magic. So let's go back to Monty and Lamar as the two of you are walking up. What are you two doing?
Do you think maybe we should just like hold that shield together, like as we walk up, like just to be safe, like you and I both hold it?
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable plan.
Okay.
So if you hold it with one hand, I hold it with the other hand. That means we can both have a weapon in the other hand.
Okay, that works. So I got my shield, our shield in one hand, and my knife in the other.
I've got my denim child chucks in the other hand, and I'm just kind of lazily swinging it about. Just prepared.
Yeah. I've got my knife. I'm also swinging it, so it looks pretty weird. But I always swing my knife when I walk up. Just a couple threatening swings.
I'm very intimidated by the energy that you're exuding right now, and I don't get intimidated easily.
And I look over, and I've just got the sweetest face. It really, the two don't go together at all.
Just a cherubic.
Lamar, as you start to walk up, you see these doppelgangers closer. Doppelgangers in their natural form are terrifying because their skin still looks like skin, but when you like look up close to it, it's just kind of braids of flesh intertwined that can kind of like loosen and tighten, and that's actually how they change their form. And Kurt, you notice this from far away because normally they're never in their natural form, and the machine that y'all had put together at Denim is on, and then you also saw the sonic blast that Julianne had done. Mm-hmm. Those kind of show you what they look like, but right now, like, these doppelgangers are not trying to shape into anybody, but as soon as Monty and Lamar start to walk closely, they all turn to Lamar. And Lamar, in front of you, each of these doppelgangers, there's a dozen, all one by one start to shift into the form of your little brother as a little drummer boy.
Yeah, I hate that. So if I was to start running towards them and start swinging around with my extremely cherubic deadly friend, what would I roll for that?
You would be rolling to kick some ass.
That's an 8.
What is Monty gonna do? Are you gonna aid with the kick some ass, or are you?
As we're running, I've just got my right arm up, and I'm like, yeah, oh, okay, sure. And you're just running along, and I'm still like, but you've got the shield like strongly in your arm. I'm like dragging along and like barely able to keep up with the shield, and I'm still trying to swing my knife, but like I'm stumbling to keep up with you as we go. You got it. It's accurate. I'm flying. I'm just like one of those like inflatable men outside of a dealership right now, swinging along with you.
All right. So you run in, start slicing at people. So since you got a mixed success, it's going to be a trading of blows. So you start to slice a few of the doppelgangers.
I'd like to note that I'm crying as this happens.
Actually, where the harm is coming from, it's more of a psychological harm, because like your child checks do 2 harm, and you're gonna take 2 harm, because every time you slash one of these doppelgangers that look like your little brother as a little drummer boy, every slash makes it look more like the humanoid version of your little brother.
Oh my god.
Nice.
That's horrific.
Great monster.
While this is happening, I would like to be talking to Kurt about where Kurt came from, because there's got to be some special room we have to end up in.
Well, I come from Waukegan, Illinois. I still kind of live with my parents and my older sister Julianne. And I'm just really hoping. I have no idea where we are now, but listen, I tell you this, Alice, if you help me find my sister, I'll help you do whatever it is that you were doing beforehand. You said something about a burning motel. I just don't know. I've never done this without my sister being here, and this is, I'm in over my head way too much.
Okay, where'd you see your sister last?
The room that we all just left.
That
the
doesn't
denim
exist anymore.
Exactly.
What about before then? Where were you two before you went to the denim factory, store, place?
Well, we were kind of cruising around formulating a plan on how to get as many doppelgangers together to kill as many as possible, because kind of our entire town had been taken over by them, and it seemed viable to eliminate them. And before that, I think we were at the HQ for the the symbol that Monty and I have. We're part of this order, and they're all about, kind of cultivating a safe world against monsters like doppelgangers and, well, whatever else might be out there. I don't even know. Somebody said a manticore earlier.
Yeah,
I think I fought one of those in D&D when I was like 13.
Yeah, that was me. I had to poison a manticore's nest, and then the motel caught on fire. And man, we really didn't plan things through very well. Come to think of it.
We thought we did. I mean, we were successful in creating a legitimate doppelganger convention, but it didn't work out for us in the end, obviously.
It's obviously not successful because the.
Yeah, not successful for us, successful for them. But yes, no, so you were getting rid of a manticore.
Yeah.
What was the manticore doing in your world?
Oh, it took up residence in an abandoned motel, and it was just like eating people, so.
That's not good either.
Like standard monster hunting stuff.
That sounds about right.
As you are sitting there talking, you see Lamar running around pulling Monty. Monty still really can't get his bearing, but you start to see in all the hands of the doppelgangers, swords start to slowly phase in.
Oh god. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh my god. That's not good. I knew this was a trap. God damn it!
I turn around and I start screaming at the air. Who the fuck is doing this?
I have a thought. I am going to because I see these doppelgangers just kind of pulling weapons out of midair, Kurt is just going to be like, okay, think of a weapon that you'd want. And he is going to summon the weapon that he most recently tried to create just to see if it works. And he is going to try to imagine the pants cannon back in his hand. He tries really hard. I don't know what you want me to roll for that.
Roll plus weird.
Okay. Yeah, that's a 5.
Kurt starts to try to imagine this in his head, and you actually see the heart on the shield itself, even though Kurt isn't holding it, starts to glow. And then a light ripples from out it, and Kurt looks in his hands, and there's no hand cannon, but what has happened is now the light has spread across all the doppelgangers, and they seem to be shrouded in a dark, negative energy now.
Whoa, Kurt, what'd you do?
I don't know.
I stopped cutting the figures that are the spitting image of my brother now, that are now shrouded in darkness. And I look back at Kurt, and I just look at him.
Concentrating really hard, and like I'm just thinking of, like, you know, the t-shirt cannons that they have at things. While we were using them to shoot out pants as giveaways for the convention, so seemed cool.
Okay. I'm gonna close my eyes and think of a flamethrower.
Okay, so roll plus weird, Alice.
Oh, 11.
Alice, you start to think that, and then the side of the shield that you had carried for years before starts to flash, lets out a blast, and you now have a flamethrower in your hand.
I can summon weapons in this world. I have
awesome.
A flamethrower.
Are you gonna go kick some ass with your flamethrower?
I don't know why I did this. I can't kick ass. Can you kick ass, Kurt?
No.
Okay.
But I can.
This isn't very useful.
I can help people kick ass. I'm good at, I'm a good cheer section.
Yeah, I normally hold the books.
What's Lamar doing? You were watching them forge this, and Lamar, you now feel a hand on your shoulder. You turn around, and one of the doppelgangers that is the most humanoid form of your little brother just looks at you, and in his voice just says, Lamar, why?
Okay. I've had a lot of bad dreams like this. How the bad dreams usually end is... I'm going to propose something a little bit weird. You mind that, Joel?
Yeah, do it up.
Okay, I want to summon a newspaper with glass embedded in it. Because in the dreams, how you would get rid of this is I would hit him in the nose with the newspaper with glass in it, and it would end up he'd just explode? That was the thing that would happen.
Alright, so roll plus weird.
If we're going by the power of imagination, I roll a 7.
Alright, yeah, so you summon this newspaper with glass in it, but you realize that, like, in your panic, like, your hand is now glass itself, holding a newspaper with glass in it.
I drop the newspaper and I punch the brother in the face.
You shatter your glass hand.
Yeah.
Take 3 harm.
Damn!
That's 5 harm. How many do I need to have to die?
2 away from dying on mine.
Okay.
Yeah. Same.
Okay, then I think it's just, yeah. So Lamar is looking beat up, and as you do that, another doppelganger that also looks like your humanoid brother does the same thing and just says, Lamar, why? And places their hand on your shoulder. Monty, what are you doing during all this?
I eventually lose grip of the shield, and then I look over and I see Alice fumbling with the flamethrower. Alice, are you unable to use it?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I summoned a flamethrower.
Okay, I recognize that, and I run over and I'm like, give me that thing. And then I turn towards the doppelgangers and I let them have it.
God damn.
Roll plus tough.
Okay. It's a 9.
So the big success is that you just like wave like a flamethrower across, and Kurt and Alice, you're watching Monty do this, and just Monty's blasting, just screaming and stuff like that, and then the fire like stops billowing out of the cannon at the end, and you see that all of the doppelgangers are unharmed by fire. It seems that they're almost immune to it, but what you do see is Lamar is burnt to a crisp.
Do I have time to do one final thing?
You are on your death rattle.
With my death rattle,
I'm like, oh, crap.
I look at this group of people who have confused me and then murdered me. And I look at my brother, the spitting image of him still standing over me with pieces of my hand in his face. And in that moment, I've been through a lot and I've done a lot of things. And a lot of them I regret. So I take up the shield, which is now I'm just holding there like Willem Dafoe in Platoon. I have fallen to my knees. I look at my brother and I say, we're both going to a better place now. And I slam the shield into the ground.
Lamar does that, and a light ripples out, blinding everyone, even more so than like the cylinders before. And when you all like can see again, Lamar is just a corpse on the ground. All the doppelgangers are fallen down dead, and you see Monty is now enveloped in the exact same negative energy that you saw the doppelgangers were.
Kurt is gonna start talking to himself. No. Shields are supposed to protect people. That's not what a shield does. Like this, we're using this. Are we using this wrong? Is this doesn't make sense? And I'm gonna start thinking about like positive things, like healing. Like maybe fix this. Just fix this. You're supposed to protect people. If you're a shield, fix it and protect.
As you're thinking that, the shield light starts to like glow out, and then the light from Monty starts to overpower it. It seems that Monty is stopping the shield from activating.
I'm going to go run up to the shield and like try to put my hand on it if I can't get it out of the ground.
Yeah, Monty, what are you doing? You're about the same distance from it as Alice.
I'm going to cast a spell on Alice.
All right, what are you doing?
I'm going to cast Blast, and I am going to add Lightning to it.
All right, so Monty is attempting to attack, so you're going to roll weird plus weird for that.
That's a 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, and then, so Alice, you give me a tough roll, because I know this isn't the mechanic for it, but...
6.
You got a 6? Okay, so Alice, you take a blast for 3 harm as you see Monty just shoot a lightning blast at you, and you go flying back from the shield. Kurt, what are you doing?
I'm gonna turn to Monty. I'm gonna say, Monty, what the fuck was that? Like, wait a second. This isn't right. Why isn't Julianne here? Okay, and I'm gonna say, you know what? It's all gone bad so far, so what can go wrong? And I'm going to try to wrestle the flamethrower away from Monty. And, try to do that.
So the two of you are wrestling back and forth. Both of you give me a tough roll.
Not that tough.
And as they're doing this, am I incapacitated?
No, you just got hit, but you're not out.
Okay, well, noticing that he's preoccupied, I would like to try to get, both my hands on the shield.
Okay, and then Kurt, what did you get?
I got an 8, and I'm using the mundane ability, What Could Go Wrong, so whenever I charge into immediate danger without hedging my bets, I hold 2, which means I inflict +1 harm, or reduce someone's harm suffered by 1, or take +2 forward on act under pressure roll.
So I think because of that, we'll just go ahead and say that you're able to get the flamethrower out of Monty's hands, and Alice, since Monty was distracted, you're able to pick up the shield.
Awesome. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with it. I'm also gonna check to see if Lamar is dead. If I've got time to do that, check for a pulse,
Lamar is dead.
Oh shit. Crap. Okay, and I can't bring people back to life. That's not something I can do. So I'm just gonna do whatever he was doing that made it glow. Whatever Kurt was doing. I'm gonna sit there and think,
happy thoughts.
Protect me.
All right, yeah, give me a weird roll.
7. I wasted all my good rolls.
You do have luck points.
Yeah, I'll use one. I'll use one to change it to a 12.
So you start to just think that you need help and protection, and you see Lamar's dead body. Kurt and Monty are starting to wrestle, and you hold the shield, close your eyes, and you start to hear a voice in your head, Alice. It's not familiar to you, but you hear it whispering,
"Faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see."
Again and again. Kurt, as you're fighting with Monty, you start to hear it, but you do recognize it. It's the voice of Julianne, and as you're fighting Monty, he starts to become incorporeal, just like the building was, until eventually you start to see within Monty the face of Julianne forming and hearing this chant.
"Faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see."
And her eyes are closed, and as soon as she is fully formed, the shadow of Monty is all but gone, And once Julianne opens her eyes, Monty dissipates in front of you. Kurt, you see your sister, and she just says,
The hardest battle is still ahead.
Alice, around you, a beam of light forms again, just like when you were at Mediosin, and around the body of Lamar, a beam of light forms. Kurt, you now see Alice and Lamar teleport away as Conrad and Charlie take their place, and Julianne stands in front of you.
Seasons was created and edited by Joel Ruiz, narration by Jack David, opening tracks provided by People Need Goals. Featuring voices of Adam LaGrave, Rebecca Parks, David Rodriguez, and Beck Shepard. Seasons cast list is as follows: Danielle Bryn, Cole Burkhart, Kyle Claset, Brian Emond, Alex Flanagan, Brandon Leon Gambetta, Taylor Johnson, Shelby Lee, Xalavier Nelson Jr., Jack Packard, Renee Rhodes, Eve Smith, Shannon Strucci, Patrick Tracy, Dallas Wheatley, and Aaron Willems. For links to the cast's Twitter, People Need Goals music, and more info on the show, please visit seasonsminiseries.com. Also, please consider supporting Critical Bits on Patreon so they can continue to bring you more actual play events. You've been listening to a Do You Validate production.